All right, let's get started. Here we go. We got to make a show happen. It's happy Thursday, everybody. Welcome. How are you? Welcome from wherever you are. Just spread out all over the world. There we go. We're up and running, checking, making sure everything's live right now. As I do as a one-man show, just making this situation happen so I can see you guys and talk to you. Welcome. Hi, everybody. Settle in. How many times can I say welcome in one show? But I genuinely mean it. Yes, you are live from the start. Hey, Dan. Rockford, Illinois, representing Albuquerque. How's growing a set? I'm actually growing kind of chin scruff all over. It's the only part that starts to show up early. Takes me a while. I get a little of this business. You can see a little of that, but I mean, give me some time. It takes a while. Have you made a facial hair decision? No, I have not. I'm just riding this out. Andy Fletcher? Oh, no. Of Depeche Mode. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Or as I used to call them in high school, depress mode. Oh my gosh, we have so much to cover. It's sort of ridiculous across the board. And when I say ridiculous, by the way, settle in. Grab yourself a beverage if you're so inclined. And I'll wait. I'll just hang out. There we go. It looks like dirt. Thanks very much, Kurt. Thanks very much. Give it some time. Yes, I know it looks like there's dirt on my face. It's just black whiskers. What am I supposed to do? Yes, Ray Liotta passed away, which was a shock. Very strange. He's only 67, I want to say. Nobody goes to jail, Karen. Just, one of those guys. Oh, and Alan White of Yes. Wow. Just one of those guys. Ray Liotta was one of those guys that just had a natural intensity that just burned in everything he did. And maybe in many ways limited what he could do. Like, he's one of those people where, like, it would be shocking, even though I think he's totally capable of doing comedy, but seeing him do it was always a bit weird. It had to have an overt intensity to it. Oftentimes that whatever makes you, the winner of the Kentucky Derby is in and of itself its own corral. So there you go. Ray looked mean. Yeah, he had that kind of intense energy about him all the time. Even when he was laughing, it was like it approached crying. If that makes sense. Oh, look at that. 5 subs and 500 bits. Thank you so much. Hype train right out of the gate. Look at that. Fantastic. Very exciting. And by the way, speaking of completely and being blazingly full of shit, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Rusty Rockets, who is, I guess he's doing this they're doing this taping from a window that he's sitting on top of. It's a floor to ceiling one. It's like he had a hotel room and they went out into the hallway. There's traffic going by. I think they just chose this because he's outlined in light and he can sell this, kind of messianic stuff. But this one, always, I'm a big fan of when his shit is a day late and $1 short, which it often is. And yeah, hashtag okay doomer. This is monkeypox, the new pandemic. Now, literally today, let's see if I can find it. Let's see if this is... Literally, this is, when did this come out? Yeah, okay, so this is like yesterday. the video is literally called "Monkeypox: The New Pandemic." Not a question mark, not a exclamation point. And by the way, hashtag Big Pharma, hashtag pandemic. Like, fuck this dude. But anyways, here you go. Is monkeypox the next I don't want to, spoiler alert. I don't want to screw up your weekend panic, but it's not. Monkeypox is not the next COVID. I mean, you got to be swapping spit basically or other fluids with somebody who's got monkeypox, and you got to do it while they have it. And that's pretty rare because minor cases, some people will catch it from somebody else because they won't know they have it, because they won't recognize that they have a skin condition when they're, in this situation. But most of the time, people are going to recognize that you have monkeypox, and therefore you're not going to catch it. Meanwhile, this fuckhead is probably, I'm guessing, and this is a long one for him, 17 minutes and 23 seconds. This is the length of this video. This asshole is more than likely going to sell us that monkeypox is the next COVID. They're going to use it for new lockdowns. This is Big Pharma's chance to control us all. That it'll only become a nationwide or a worldwide, an epidemic or a pandemic, if they can find a way to monetize it. Which, by the way, we already have a smallpox vaccine that covers monkeypox. Yes, most people are getting it from sex. Like, this is just stupid. And the fact that this fucker is taping this thing while he's on the road doing gigs. Yeah. So, and he's wearing a Rebel with a Cause animal activist shirt and what looks like a spike or a bullet as a necklace. Adorable. So here you go.
Oh no! Monkeypox!
Again.
Hello there, you fire.
By the way, that whole farting at the beginning of it is a way of inoculating himself from serious criticism. Because if you put he has that farting bird on his logo, that basically says, well, I mean, obviously I started the whole thing out with a fart noise, so don't take anything I'm saying seriously.
5.6
which is bullshit and a dodge.
Million awakening wonders. Together we voyage towards truth.
All right, and this is becoming fucking straight up Branch Davidian bullshit.
And light in a world that would have us dim, dumb, numb, continually spellbound, hypnotized by screens like the one you're looking at right now. But
oh, he caught himself. I mean, he has a fucking hypnosis opening, because that's what that is. Establish yourself as an authority. Use an authoritative voice. Draw people in through physical gestures. Establish a dominant, charismatic architecture between you and the other person. Fucking hell.
I only told you to look at this so I could tell you to look away from this. If you're not...
Fuck you. Look, I only told you to watch my videos so you know what videos not to watch. What an asshole.
Not subscribed to this channel yet, please subscribe now before...
No, don't subscribe. It's obviously a hypnosis thing. This is a trick. He's playing on you. Do not subscribe.
Monkeypox consumes you. Only 60% of people are currently subscribed, and I want to hear your comments below.
Because that's what kicks up his CPI, clicks CPM. His clicks per minute or whatever it is that allows him to get a higher ratio of advertising on his channel. You know, capitalism.
On everything, but in particular, the monkeypox phenomena.
It's not a phenomena. It's been around for a while. It's a mild outbreak in multiple countries because travel is opening up again. It's a rubber banding effect.
People will think already that monkeypox is being exaggerated and inflated to create economic opportunity and to introduce new regulation. Other people will say that monkeypox is being used to inflate ideas around conspiracy, to corral people into states of suspicion.
And he's gonna do fucking both. What do you think the odds are that this motherfucker is gonna argue both of those points? That it's big pharma and a big conspiracy theory. That Bill Gates is behind it, but to make money for Pfizer or some shit. Good Lord.
and cynicism. So let's have a look at how monkeypox is being reported on right now.
Tonight, an unprecedented global spread of monkeypox has the CDC on alert.
Now to the growing concern over the monkeypox virus.
A leading advisor to the World Health Organization described the unprecedented outbreak of monkeypox.
What we can point out already is that there is a degree of hysteria.
No one is screaming. No one is sweating. They're responding to an exponential number of cases, and with a righteous concern. There are more cases of monkeypox in the United States than there were cases of COVID previous to the outbreak we dealt with. There's also, monkeypox usually doesn't infect this many people. So there's algorithmically, it's going to chart in their percentages. Remember, numbers versus percentages, always important to see both, because then and only then do you know whether to panic or prepare. And most of the time, if you're only seeing one, someone is fucking with you, including this dipshit. So the reason the CDC and the NIH and the World Health Organization are looking at this and going, eek, is because normally you might have 6 cases when you have an outbreak and they have 24. And they're like, what if that spreads in that? Yeah.
Even if the ongoing news report...
How do the British guy filter with new facial hair? Oh my God, oh my God. Oh yeah, you think that'll work? Hold on one second. I think we're down. It's almost a little too close. Hold on one second. I'm trying to do that. Even my friends, sign up and like right now. Understand that, are they trying to manipulate you just for clicks? As I try to manipulate you just for clicks.
Report goes on to tell you things like, oh, it's not that bad. We're already seeing that it's being ubiquitously reported. Imagine if you can...
Oh, yeah, they're ubiquitously reporting it because it's of a concern and they are concerned about it, and it's an actual story. You know, there were few Ebola cases in the United States, and they reported that shit a lot. It was only one fucking state. Yeah, you might start to think that people might want to be aware of it. No? Because it's not going to be the next pandemic, but that doesn't mean it can't fuck people up, right? Right!
And for a moment, a world where we hadn't just had that 2-year pandemic, the subsequent lockdowns, the mandates, the confusion, the doubt and uncertainty that...
Yeah, it's the doubt and the uncertainty that I worry about.
Came with the 2 years we have just endured collectively. One thing I think is fantastic about it is all of us understand what I mean by that.
Yeah, the great thing about it is that no one was spared from the horrors that were COVID. You know, and if there's a silver lining to this whole thing, it's that everyone lost people. You know, it's like a kind of a mild miracle.
To a degree, all of us have endured and encountered the same experience.
Yeah, and that's a plus, don't you think? I mean, it'd be terrible if there were like a couple of countries that did okay and it never reached them or something, and we'd all be like, fuck you, bomb them.
Even though we will, of course, see it differently because we have different priorities, different fears, different concerns, different attitudes towards...
Yes. And...
authority, different attitudes towards health, different attitudes and reactions to fear.
Gibberish, you're filling time now. I'm bored already. The fuck are you talking about?
The question is...
what? What is it?
How would a subject like monkeypox, which, by the way, is a more catchy name than COVID-19...
Fuck off.
They've already improved that.
Asshole. COVID-19 is the date. It's coronavirus and the infection and the fucking year it came out, because they happen every fucking year, you dolt. They don't name them for fucking... I mean, by the way, there's no monkeypox 19. It's the same fucking thing.
If COVID-19 was the Beatles, then monkeypox is, well, I suppose, the monkeys. Another
Fuck off.
thing to note is that already in the succinct...
So can we just, for the record, say that Russell Brand believes that the Monkees, the band, and the TV show has a catchier, more culturally relevant and impactful name than the Beatles. Clearly a band that didn't go anywhere.
News announcement.
Fucking hell.
The WHO has been mentioned. The reason that we have to take...
Yeah, they've been mentioned because they're the World Health Organization, and it's a disease that's affecting multiple countries. The fuck are you on about?
something like monkeypox seriously, I mean, as consumers of news narratives.
Yeah, if it might be, can it spread through newspapers? I'm fairly certain it can. You get monkeypox from watching OAN.
Is because the last 2 years has shown us that unprecedented regulation can be easily introduced.
What? No, it hasn't. Unprecedented threats occur. Therefore, the response is fucking unprecedented. Because you don't have to do that if it's not required. The fuck? We don't pass out boats if there aren't any floods, you prick you.
It has shown us too that there are incredible opportunities for profit.
Shut up. Look, he's doing it. He's fucking well doing it. What did I say at the beginning? What the fuck did I say? Hey? What I say? I said he's like, some people, it's conspiracy. Others, they're just doing it for profit. This is chapter 1, so he's going to go into it's just for profit, which will lead to a conspiracy. Ah, what a tit.
For very powerful organizations. I'm not a conspiracy theorist.
Yeah, you fucking well are.
I'm not interested in conspiracy theory.
Yeah, you fucking well are. Hold on, son of a bitch. No, fucking well no. Hold on. I can't even type. I'm so fucking irritated. Hold on. Russell ass. I think I've typed it right. This motherfucker wants to tell you, shut up. You flap. Look at this shit. First of all, I don't believe in fucking conspiracy theories. I don't even. This changes everything. Look, it's Bill Gates, the head of the WHO, and a fucking, cross tape over it. Look at this. This is just the beginning. It's a conspiracy. The Truth Commission that they're doing, whatever. Ultra MAGA. Has Trump already won? Blah, blah, blah. Hold on. Let's see. Here's Elon Musk shaking hands with Donald Trump. Oh, look. Elon Musk versus Bill Gates for control of the world, obviously. Here's Bill Gates and the World Health Organization. I don't believe in conspiracies. I do like graphics of weird hacker villains around the fucking CDC. Look at this prick over here. Look at this one. Look at that. Hold on. Let me see if I can blow this up a little bit so you can see these a little clearer. There you go. Yeah, that's a fucking disgrace. There's a conspiracy to poison your babies. Look at that. They're eliminating truth. Look at this. World Health Organization's going to put a big fucking QR code tattoo on your fucking forehead. I don't believe in conspiracies. I really don't. Johnson & Johnson, the truth is coming out. Leaked information because they're hiding it from you. Clearly. Look, it's okay when they do it. They're smiling and there's a fucking COVID. Everybody's fucking vaxxed at that shit. So this is what it was about all along. Bill Gates, how to prevent the next pandemic. Is he serious? He's responsible for it. Oh, fucking hell. You are now an enemy of the state. But I don't believe in... Who believes in fucking conspiracy theories? Oh, so the establishment are shitting themselves. By the way, which is an answer to Jimmy Dore's video, the establishment is shitting themselves. All hail Anthony Fauci. Russell Brand reacts to the Trump Morgan interview. The truth about woke Disney, clearly a conspiracy. We're not allowed to talk about this because, there's a grand conspiracy. This prick. Oh, so it's all bullshit then? The Great Reset, a warning? Yeah, that's not a fucking conspiracy theory or anything. Get fucked, you tit. Shit. Hold on. Shrunk. The whole thing shrunk? Oh, I don't need to do that. I don't need to do that. Hold on. There you go.
I'm interested in observing patterns and then communicating. And one of the things I've observed is...
Yeah, it's not a conspiracy theory. I've done my research. Like, there's patterns that show that if you squirt ivermectin up your bunghole, if you got worms, they'll go.
That going forward, we're going to need unique and unprecedented levels of transparency and democracy. Transparency and democracy rather than authoritarianism and opacity.
So why the fuck are you rooting for China all the time then, you prick?
The World Health Organization is investigating more than 90 cases of...
Yeah, 90. Usually there's like 6. There were 14 COVID cases.
Monkeypox in a dozen countries, including here in the United States.
On to monkeypox now.
On to monkeypox. They're already enjoying monkeypox a little bit because it's got a catchy name.
No, they're not enjoying it. They're dealing with the news, and increasingly the news is pointing out that it's not to worry about. So as you go through these fucking clips, you prick, you'll find that a lot of them are less worried about it.
Americans should expect to see more reported cases of monkeypox in the weeks ahead. That's the message today from the CDC.
God, everyone's going on about monkeypox. It must be really serious.
So far, agency officials say they've identified just one confirmed case of monkeypox in the U.S.
One person's got it. I bet more people have fallen off skateboards and hit their heads on a tortoise. Why is there no news
Yeah, because that's not fucking contagious, is it?
about that?
But
By the way, monkeypox and smallpox are related. Go look at stories about smallpox and you'll start understanding why they're worried about the unvaccinated in our fucking country catching this shit.
there are 4 suspected cases. U.S. health experts insist anybody can catch monkeypox.
I think what we're learning to be is diligent around news narratives.
No. One of the things, the narratives about this, because it comes straight out of fucking Vladimir Putin, is that only gay people are getting monkeypox, you prick.
Learning to
It's turning into an attack point.
discern truth from fiction. Learning to appreciate and discern the implications of news stories. For example, if someone says anybody can catch monkeypox, what kind of feelings does that evoke in you? Like,
Well, if you thought it's only spreading among gay men, for example, you might blow it off the way the early concerns about AIDS were blown off by people. That's why. And you are snipping those fucking pieces out, mate, to sell that narrative.
anyone, that means you, the people that you love, can catch monkeypox. I don't want to be wrapped in cotton wool and protected from reality, although that'll probably be the next lockdown. Wrap yourself in cotton wool and do
Oh, fuck off.
not go out of the house. What kind of cotton wool? Did Johnson & Johnson make that cotton wool? Actually, they did.
CDC reports it's now in the process of releasing about 1,000 vaccine doses
Okay, I wonder who will be making those.
from a strategic national stockpile.
Yeah, we already have them. It's not new. It's been sold for a long time.
It's been approved for monkeypox.
Okay, so there's a lot of questions about monkeypox. What is it? Is it dangerous? Did Bill Gates really predict it? Is it the new COVID-19? And
Oh, God. And again, never do a conspiracy. Don't do it.
will it be used to sustain regulations and economic conditions and relationships that were established in the last couple of years
No. You're welcome. Fuck off.
that benefit powerful corporations,
No.
empower states to introduce regulations,
No. I mean, can we just skip to the fucking end?
and deteriorate the quality of ordinary people's lives? Let's have a look. Today, the World Health Organization
This is from Unheard. And the title of this article is Monkeypox is not the next COVID-19.
will hold an emergency meeting to discuss the ongoing monkeypox outbreak. Now, the WHO are already involved. You know that the WHO is funded in descending order by 1, the American government, 2, Bill Gates, a person, I know it's
Yeah, a philanthropist, a dude who made a shit ton of money, didn't need to make anymore, and now he and his wife are spending their fucking money all over the world trying to fucking help, you prick. This is exactly what kind of billionaires you guys are hoping for. I've never understood this. I don't understand why the fucking Bill Gates fear. Dude's predicting shit based on algorithms. He's a fucking computer nerd.
It's the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, but I think Bill Gates is involved. 3, the United Kingdom. According to initial reports,
Yes, the country you fucking live in, the country I live in, and a dude who has a charity that fights disease all over the known fucking world. Is trying to keep people in Africa from dying from malaria in mass, while you do shit-ass stand-up, what passes for it, and meditation seminars in little theaters all over the U-fucking-K.
the meeting will focus on how the virus is spread and vaccination, with talk of repurposing stocks of a smallpox vaccine for close contact with infected people. A lot of people are so frightened, anxious and nervous about the last couple of years, and I don't blame them. It was a frightening time in many ways.
Yeah, and if you get really frightened, if you feel frightened, I have a meditation program. You can basically all the shit I scare the fuck out of you with over here, I'll teach you how to get rid of it, yeah? You just sit there with your legs crossed and you count backwards from 23 to 7. And then when you reach 7, you release all the pressure that's built up. Yeah, it's very cheap.
I know that you and I and many people see this pandemic differently.
Yeah. You see it as a money-making opportunity for scared fuckers all over the world. Yeah, you're a human fucking tick.
See the regulations differently. See the responses and medications.
Oh, no, I know, that's rude to ticks.
Differently. Of course we do. We've got different lives. We've got different priorities, different considerations, different relationships.
Yeah, not everybody can be a rich actor with a history of rom-coms that he used to brag about his drug use with and around his sexual partners who may or may not have been able to give consent during those times and making jokes at their expense. Personally, I can't understand that. You know what I mean? But, we went through the pandemic differently. That's all I can say. Some of us got bro tattoos during that time. The rest of us spent time with our families, not being pricks. You say tomato, right?
With authority, different relationships with fear. But the idea that smallpox vaccines will be repurposed already suggests that one of the priorities might be financial. I'm not suggesting...
Fuck off! If the financial priority was that, they'd fucking make a new one, wouldn't they? What the hell are you talking about? They'd make a whole new one and go, special monkeypox, that won't work. They've already got the smallpox vaccine and it's fucking cheap. There's multiple versions of it. It's been around for a long fucking time. It does treat monkeypox.
That that's the only consideration. I'm just saying
I would like to plant that seed in your porous dipshit little mind so that you get more and more afraid, so that you click and like my videos and you comment below, oh my God, here it comes, end of the world, freaky. What time is your live meditation chat? I want to be able to be there. So it's what? It's $150. Oh, okay. Yeah. I guess if it makes me feel better than I did before I watched your video, I think it'll be worth it. It's like a spiritual refund.
That Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson, and Moderna in particular, which was a company on the brink of collapse, benefited incredibly from the last couple of years.
No, the humanity benefited incredibly from the fact that these fuckers know what the fuck they are doing. Johnson & Johnson didn't benefit incredibly from it. They're having a failure to launch issue with their fucking vaccine. Ask AstraZeneca. That's your fucking country's bit. If it was all about money, why isn't there monkeypox only vaccine on the market or something?
I'm not saying that's the reason the pandemic happened. I'm not.
Yes, you are. You fucking creep. You're allowing for the inference thereof because you're too much of a coward to imply it. I'm just setting up details that will connect in your mind. I'm not saying they should, but shouldn't they?
Not making any such suggestion.
Yes, you fucking well are.
I don't have any authority to make such claims.
Now you're just doing legalese so your video doesn't get kicked off the fucking internet.
What I'm saying is that big pharmaceutical corporations tend to operate in order to generate profit.
Yeah, and what do they use that profit for, fucko? What do they use it for? They pay their investors a dividend. They pay the people who work there. They pay the executives who run the fucking place. And if those people run the place into the fucking ground and they don't come up with good pharmaceutical solutions for things, they get fired. And then they spend it on R&D.
That's not the world's most controversial thing. So
this fucking show runs on profit, you bastard. He wouldn't do it if it didn't make him money. These videos aren't free. He monetized all of them. He's not going, don't do commercials. I'm not going to do any of that. I'm not going to allow commercials on mine. I'm already rich. I've got a little country house, a couple £4 billion, £4 million house, but whatever the fuck. But, I'm not going to make any money off this because truth is more important. Isn't it? That's the important thing.
It would be beneficial to them if you could sustain a climate of fear.
No, it would be projection, fucking projection. projection. They don't need a climate of fucking fear. Who gives a shit if people are afraid of the disease if you don't have a fucking cure for it? What good is it? People aren't going to invest in your company because you might one day come up with a cure for something if somebody else is already... They're in a competition with everyone else to cure these fucking diseases. This asshole is benefiting from the constant state of fear.
Also, states benefit from a climate
States? What you mean Oklahoma?
of fear because a population that is anxious and nervous is easier to manage.
Yeah, I know. Welcome, you 5.6 million wonderful people working through light and knowing full well that it's not a conspiracy and it might be about profit, but I'm not saying either way, but you know, they might be coming for you, and any day now, there'll be another disease and they're just going to create it, so that's the way they make money, so they can starve you to death and freak you out so you live in fear. By the way, buy my meditation program.
People that feel comfortable and free are, generally speaking, less obedient.
Yeah, that's why I don't require any obedience of my fucking people. They can do what they want, don't they? Fucking hell.
Yeah, the talk about monkeypox is alarmist on both sides of the COVID-19 debate, from those who favour restrictions and from those who don't.
Yeah, everybody's talking about it. Those who are for it are alarmed, and those who are against it are alarmed that people who are for it will be too alarmed and set off the alarm.
Kit Yates, a prominent member of Independent Sage, tweeted...
Independent Sage, I like them. They come over and if they'll stick your house, whatever. You know, don't walk around making smoking, and they'll clap in all the corners to release all the stagnant chi.
That we would soon be hearing the "it's time we learn to live with monkeypox" takes from politicians who have stopped giving a fuck about public health.
What? So that's one of the people who thinks we need lockdowns.
On the other extreme, Mahid Nawaz claimed that the global palace coup will soon see an attempt to bring in new lockdowns in line with the proposed WHO pandemic treaty, and pointed to Microsoft founder Bill Gates' prediction in November.
Gee, I wonder which side of this argument our dear Russell Brand falls on. I can't imagine.
November 2021, that the next pandemic would come from smallpox, to which monkeypox is related.
And... yeah, it's highly transmissible, fucko.
One thing I think we can share is...
yeah, one thing we could share is that we all agree on one thing. Russell Brand is a prat.
a general sense of mistrust in authority.
No. Earned authority I've got a tremendous amount of trust with and respect for. You don't just... you don't walk in... No, this prick doesn't show up at his fucking shows and go, what you know about mix and sound, mate? Move out the fucking way. Where's the lighting guy? Fire him. I'll do it. Who's selling tickets in this fucking place? I bet they don't know shit about selling tickets to comedy shows and live concerts and performances. I'll do it. This fucker trusts people all the time based on their authority in a particular area. He also follows the rules in terms of what music he can play when he comes in and what rights he would have to pay for that shit. So get fucked about this.
And I think that this
A prat is a clumsy asshole.
mistrust has been well earned by those in power. The profits gleaned from the pandemic, the mishandling of the regulations and...
What mishandling? Like what, fucko? Say one of them. Don't just go, but they had these lockdowns and some people didn't like them, so that must have been mishandled. Really? What ones? What is it? Mr. Run Rampant?
Lockdowns, the inability to point to direct correlation between effective lockdowns and lower fatalities.
Bullshit.
All suggest that we should be more discerning when it...
By the way, we didn't have lockdowns. We had optional lockdowns every fucking where. Businesses, because people would gather there from different households, had to have either rules in place or had to be shut down as gathering points during because they were fusion points between other places. But insofar as you going outside, we weren't this ain't Shanghai, motherfucker.
Comes to future regulations. Why would we hand over our personal freedom
we don't
to unelected, centralized globalist movements?
We don't. We have representatives that we've elected that engage with other elected representatives from other free countries that put together organizations that deal with spread of disease, famine, crop blight, terrorism across countries' borders. That we engage with our neighbors, you fucking moron.
Why would any of us do that?
None of us are.
The thing that I keep returning to mentally is transparency and democracy. Did I vote for it? Do I have access to all of the facts?
Science didn't even have access to all of the facts. They were going with the best information they had. And increasingly, it got more dire over time until we had a fucking vaccine. That's like saying, I'm not going to stop at a stoplight unless all the facts tell me that there are no cars coming. So I'm just going to roll through it. I didn't vote for that stoplight to turn from red to green or green to red. I didn't vote for that. Some bureaucrat in a tower timed these things. I didn't vote for the stoplight timing in my fucking town.
If I have access to all of the facts and I voted for it, I'm up for it.
You don't vote, mate. This fucker doesn't vote. Doesn't fucking believe in it.
But if I don't, then why should I be?
What the fuck does that even mean?
So should we be worried? Let's consider monkeypox first.
Well, that's a good idea, as opposed to just freaking out because we have governments.
Cases have been detected in the Western world.
Yeah, you didn't vote for seatbelts. Some bureaucrat created seatbelt rules. There were a lot of people who didn't vote for seatbelts. They didn't vote for click it and ticket.
From Australia to the UK and the US, but in small numbers, a mere 20 cases in the UK. Moreover, unlike COVID-19, this is not a new virus. It's been circulating in equatorial Africa since the 1970s. It can quite often affect people there without causing any alarm elsewhere at all.
Right. It's the spread that makes people nervous. They deal with it there because they inoculate people. There's a bunch of people in the States that are anti-vax because of fuckers like you that aren't inoculated against smallpox.
In 2021, 75 people died of monkeypox in the Democratic Republic of Congo without any sign that anyone cared or was asked.
Fucking hell. Here's a good example. United States announces $3.5 million in assistance to contain Ebola outbreaks in the Democratic Republic of Congo and Guinea. Nobody gave a fuck. This was last March. Through USAID is providing more than $3.5 million in rapid response Ebola assistance to support efforts in Democratic Republic of Congo and Guinea. The assistance will support disease surveillance, laboratory testing, infection prevention and control, contact tracing, community awareness, and social mobilization and logistics management. The Ministry of Health in DRC confirmed an Ebola outbreak in northern Kivu province. Separately, on February 14, 2021, the Guinea Ministry of Health also confirmed an Ebola outbreak. At this time, DRC reports 11 confirmed cases, including 4 deaths, and Guinea reports 18 and probable cases involving 8 deaths. The U.S. assistance will complement the ongoing response efforts of the governments of DRC and fucking Guinea. We do this shit all the time. Just because you don't give a fuck doesn't mean other people aren't working to do this. Let's see. Hold on. I'll try to do this one more. Yeah, and here's why people are like, anybody can get it. Monkeypox. UNAIDS concerned about stigmatizing language against LGBTI people. The reason they're saying anyone can get monkeypox isn't because they're like, oh, fear for your family. It's because there's a bunch of people who are like, nah, gay people are getting it. I'm not going to get it. And the people who are in the UN AIDS program are like, yeah, we've danced this one before. It fucks with people. And they are working on it. Hold on. Let's see. One more, if I may. I've got to go back. There you go. Let's see. My sister. 2022. Hold on. I've got to go back one part of there. Let's see. I'll do this like. Trying to look at. Hold on one moment, if I may. CDC must include 2019. Yeah, there you go. Oh, no. There you go. Monkeypox. There you go. There's a whole thing on it from the World Health Organization. Vaccines used during the smallpox eradication program also provide protection against monkeypox. Newer vaccines have been developed, of which one has been approved for prevention of monkeypox. It's caused by monkeypox virus, blah, blah, blah. We know all this. And the pathogen outbreaks. There you go. Since 1970, there's been a bunch of these. Let's see, 2017, Nigeria has experienced a large outbreak, over 500 suspected cases, 200 confirmed cases, and a case fatality ratio of approximately 3%. Cases continue to be reported until today. It's a disease of global public health importance, as it not only affects countries in the West and Central Africa, but the rest of the world. In 2003, the monkeypox outbreak outside of Africa was in the United States of America and was linked to contact with infected pet prairie dogs. These pets have been housed with Gambian pouched rats and dormice that have been imported in the country from Ghana. This outbreak led to over 70 cases of monkeypox in the U.S. Monkeypox has also been reported in travelers from Nigeria to Israel, September 2018, to the United Kingdom in September 2018, December 2019, May 20. They track this fucking shit all the time. Here's the symptoms. This is the diagnosis. This is the therapeutics. You can vaccinate. In fact, you can vaccinate people against it. There's prevention things, reducing the risk of human-to-human transit. Like, they do this shit all the time. In 2021, 75 people died in the DRC without any sign that anyone cared or was asking. The WHO and USAID were all over it. In 2021, we specifically gave money to that. Fucking hell.
As the New Scientist did in an alarmist headline yesterday, could monkeypox become a pandemic? That is an alarmist headline.
Oh, yeah, which is terrible. You know what I mean? Like, no one should use alarmist headlines just to get fucking clicks. You know what I mean? Like, what kind of a prick would like put up alarmist headlines? I mean, who would even do that? This is how they take over. You're not going to like this. The Great Reset. This is how he does it. A Russian letter to the world. You can't make up this shit. It's happening. This could get even worse. What kind of an asshole with a meditation program does this kind of bullshit?
And whether or not there are further regulations introduced, whether or not new vaccines are suggested, the climate of fear itself is
how you make money.
It's already a political tool.
For you to make money.
What's alarming is not monkeypox, but the extreme responses to it on both sides. It looks like yet another wave of media hysteria of the kind all too common since COVID-19. Talk of automatic lockdowns for monkeypox are also alarming.
Yeah, I've not seen those. If they'd said that in any of those reports you'd seen, they'd have talked about it. They didn't, did they?
This is not likely to be what Bill Gates calls the next major outbreak, though some appear to be preparing to treat it that way. Some of the world's
No, they aren't. And then he shifts. Look at this. He shifts sources. Monkeypox virus. Is there a treatment for this disease? Yes. Skip to the end.
Major pharmaceutical companies are rubbing their hands together over the sudden outbreaks of monkeypox in countries where no cases have been reported for years.
For years? 2 years.
The nervousness generated by the emergence of COVID-19 awakened the desire to acquire vaccines and drugs among several first world governments.
Yeah, I don't know why you'd want to acquire, like, oh shit, we don't have a vaccine for that, even though it exists. We don't have a stockpile of it. What if we had an outbreak? Probably should store some. Okay.
Our adaptability as a species is our great gift. We have adapted to conditions all over the world that have made us flourish. But the pressure to conform as a human being is one of the greatest pressures we know.
What? The fuck are you talking about? So vaccination is based on peer pressure now.
That means that once we've been conditioned to respond in a particular way, we, without thinking, assume that that's the correct way to respond.
The fuck we do? What are you talking about? Look at all the ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine. We've been taking since after the polio vaccine. Everybody was on board with fucking vaccines. A few decades later, and these motherfuckers want to shove horse paste up their ass.
In subsequent scenarios that resemble what we've already encountered. Something like monkeypox could be treated as a...
Look at that fucking edit. Look at that. Look at this edit. Watch. It could... Something like monkeypox could...
What we've already encountered. Something like monkeypox could be treated as another pandemic that requires strong regulation, lockdowns, etc., and provides opportunity for pharmaceutical companies to make profit.
Fucking nonsense. And secondly, isn't this exactly what he said in the beginning? Like, I'm not doing this. I'm not saying that either way, whether it's a conspiracy or whether it's just being done for profit.
From potentially mandated...
What was that edit? What the fuck?
Provides opportunity for pharmaceutical companies to make profit from potentially mandated medicines.
Jesus Christ, just do it again, mate. I mean, no need for a dance remix.
Treat cases of smallpox, the Food and Drug Administration has approved a couple of drugs that could be used for this variant of the virus. Let's see what Pfizer and the FDA have to say about the potential monkeypox pandemic. The rising number of monkeypox cases in the US and Europe suggests the virus has already spread widely across communities. Pfizer board member and former FDA commissioner Dr. Scott Gottlieb told CNBC on Friday.
Right.
Okay, we'll get a lot of objectivity from Pfizer board member and former FDA commissioner Dr. Scott Gottlieb. I mean, with his
Gottlieb?
previous, he's sure to handle this in an even-handed manner. Now there's been community spread, it may be hard to fully snub this out. Oh yeah, Scott, and what would that mean? Would we need some sort of medicine? Oh, if only there was someone that could make this medicine. Oh, we could, and I suppose there'd be no price controls, and perhaps we could grant you immunity from prosecution as well before we start. Oh, we could. Gottlieb added that there's been...
Gottlieb? What the fuck? Added that there have been numerous disconnected cases indicating that the spread in the community is pretty wide.
Numerous disconnected cases indicating that the spread in the community is pretty wide. There's only one case at the moment. There might be a handful of cases. There could be as many as 200. Just try to remain calm. He said there might be a lot more infection.
It was a specific interview about fucking monkeypox. They weren't running this 24 fucking hours a day.
What health officials have found since it's had such a long incubation period and doctors don't know how to look for it yet. He noted that the virus...
Don't know how to look for it. And doctors don't know to look for it yet. They know how.
Found since it's had such a long incubation period and doctors don't know how to look for it yet. He noted that the virus is endemic in some countries, with the Democratic Republic of the Congo reporting anywhere from 5,000 to 10,000 cases a year. So this is something that's been around for a while, and if you're in a country like Congo, something that you have to live with. But remember, the Congo's not in Europe or America. Pfizer...
What the fuck's that supposed to mean? Yeah, we know, asshole.
Has made nearly $26 billion in revenues in the first 3 months of the year.
In revenues, right. Is that profit or is that income? Is that the cost of everything that fucking came in? Let me guess. You think the treatments all cost a nickel and they sell them for $200.
Here. The bulk from its COVID-19 vaccine and a new pill to treat the virus.
Yeah, because there's a lot of worldwide orders and there's the only one that fucking well works.
Prompting fresh accusations of pandemic profiteering.
Yes, and?
Well, there you are.
Well, there you are. Fresh accusations. They must be true.
It's possible, to alter reality radically. Perhaps not objective reality on the level of physics, although possibly. But
oh, he's going in like the secret hippie stuff. That's where he's going with that. But, but if you could do that, and there's arguably you can, he wouldn't be in it. I mean, if everybody knew how to use the secret properly, I think he'd probably evaporate.
But certainly social reality and political reality and economic reality.
Right. There's also medical reality. And that's the part you...
For example, it's not impossible to say that...
It's not impossible to edit out the parts that would get me legally in trouble.
During a pandemic, when there is a health crisis...
Yeah.
Any pharmaceutical company that makes medicines, particularly if those medicines and their research have been funded by taxpayer dollars or pounds or whatever it is in your country, then any profit they make should be similarly redistributed and be returned into public healthcare funding.
Why? Because what they do between big outbreaks to what money do they use to actually work on diseases that aren't of giant worldwide concern, that people don't give a rat fuck about until it's too late? Maybe it might come as a surprise to you that they're pharmaceutical companies all the time. They don't just do pharmaceuticals whenever shit hits the fan.
That's a possibility. I'm
not saying it is. I'm inferring that it is because I'm a fucking coward.
saying it's the right thing to do. I'm saying that's a possibility, as well as Pfizer making $26 billion of profit in the first...
No, fucko. It didn't say profit. It said revenue. Income and revenue are not the same as profit, fuckwad. If you're making a shit ton of this stuff, you're obviously spending more on making it. If a construction company makes more houses and they, on paper, are taking in more money, a lot of that money goes to building the fucking house.
Third of the year. And certainly that would help me to appreciate their motives. Like when Scott Gottlieb's talking about it, he goes,
Gottlieb.
As you know, we don't make any profits from this stuff. It all goes back into helping people get well.
Bullshit.
Then you think, oh, right, no, this guy's...
Oh, I thought he meant his show. No.
Clearly not a profiteering pirate. This is from Nick Dearden, Director of Global Justice Now. Right from the start...
Yes, from The Guardian, putting Big Pharma in charge of global vaccine rollout was a big mistake. I see. Who are you going to put in charge? By the way, they weren't in charge. Governments were. They weren't in charge of the rollout. They just supplied the fucking vaccines. We funded the research by buying it ahead of time. We gave them shortcuts so they wouldn't have to go through all the normal regulatory loops so we could get it sooner. We rolled it out though. Did anybody get a shot in their arm from a Pfizer employee? Anybody? Anybody in the chat room? Did you? Mine was 2 National Guard people. I got my shots from National Guard members. That's who was at the vaccination site I went to. None of them, they didn't fucking roll it out.
Pfizer was clear that it wanted to make a lot of money from COVID. The company claims that its vaccine cost just under £5 per dose to produce. Others have suggested it could be much cheaper.
Oh yeah? Who are those others? Either way, the company is selling doses at a huge profit.
Either way, the company is selling...
Is it now?
Selling doses at a huge profit. The UK government paid £18 a shot for its first order and £22 a shot for its...
Right, so production, transportation, insurance, all that stuff. Getting it there, making sure it actually works. Some of it's... not every dose is going to be usable. There were a bunch of people throwing them out. There were a bunch of people... There were 7 doses in a thing, but they were only using 5. Fucking hell.
Most recent purchase. That means the NHS has paid a markup of at least £2 billion. Now remember, of course...
Yeah, if you don't include transportation, preparation, bottling it... honestly, do you think just once the dose is created, that's the end of it?
The government's money is your money. They don't have any money. The government's not got a car wash around the back where they're making money that they can invest back into. That's your money. It's been claimed that the company...
I'm sorry, you have a royal family. I don't have to listen to any of your shit about taxes, mate. You pay for 2 furry-hatted guys to stand outside a building every day just because a queen lives there. Shut up.
The company initially tried to pitch their medicine to the US government for close to $100.
It has been claimed that the company initially tried to pitch their medicine to the US government for $100 a dose. Claimed by whom?
A dose. Of course they did.
What do you mean, of course they did? No, not of course. If they say it's £5 or $5 a fucking dose, which is what, $3.50, £3.50, right? No, not absolutely.
Why wouldn't they be ashamed of that? Because they spend a significant amount of money lobbying the government, controlling the government.
Yeah, and all that lobbying and control did not result in us paying $100 per fucking dose.
They fund the FDA to the tune of 45% of the FDA's funding that's supposed to be the body that regulates them.
That's because they use some of the technology that comes out of state-funded and federally funded university programs. It goes back into it.
They are designed and organized in order to generate profit. So no, I'm not condemning any individual.
Yes, you are.
This is a system.
Bill Gates, I'd like to say for the record, and his wife. For the record.
Systemic problem. Or maybe not a problem if you're one of the people that benefits. It's a systemic attribute. Companies like Pfizer behave more like hedge funds, buying up and controlling other firms and intellectual property rather than traditional medical research companies.
Bullshit.
Corporations like Pfizer should never have been put in charge of a global vaccination
They weren't.
rollout because it was inevitable they would make life and death decisions based on what's in the short-term interest of their shareholders.
Yeah, they didn't do that. They didn't. They weren't in charge of the fucking rollout. They were in charge of coming up with a vaccine, proving it worked, selling it once they did.
Is it wise to give Pfizer that amount of power?
They don't have that amount of power. They certainly don't over fucking here.
Here's Albert Bourla in a clip many of you will have already seen in 2018 at the World Economic Forum. Oh yeah, those guys.
Yeah, 2018, before COVID, talking about something else, lower res.
Davos, talking about a pill which, to give you full transparency and clarity, is for schizophrenia that would leave a chip in the person that are taking it, making it possible to track them.
No, not making it possible to track them. It dissolves. Once it dissolves, you know the pill has been consumed. It doesn't track. You don't fucking swallow tracking chips, you tit. The purpose of this was there are schizophrenics and people who are let out of jail or let out of fucking mental institutions on their own recognizance based on the idea that they're going to continue to take their meds. And if they stop taking their meds, they go back to jail. Well, how do you know they're taking their fucking meds? You're going to just go, do you take your meds? Yeah, taking them. You promise you're not going to chop anybody up? I promise. And then they go chop somebody up. How do you know they've been taking them? Well, each one of them has a little microscopic RFID wafer in it that when you consume it is dissolved in the acid in your stomach. It stops showing up. So they don't track you. They track how many pills are left in the fucking bottle.
I'm not suggesting that Pfizer are
Yes, you are.
putting chips in any of their medication.
No, you are suggesting that that's their plan.
And for me, that seems like a pretty outlandish thing to say. I'm just saying that here's Albert Bourla, the CEO of Pfizer,
Saying something that you are intellectually incapable of understanding.
saying that they could do that with schizophrenia medications. Let's take a quick look.
Yeah, let's take a quick look and let's see if that's actually what he's saying. You could put a chip in it that would track the person.
It is basically biological chip that it is in the tablet. And once you take the tablet and dissolves into your stomach, sends a signal that you took the tablet. So imagine...
Yeah, that signal is because it stops. It's always beeping and it stops beeping.
The applications of that, compliance, the insurance companies to know that the medicines that patients should take, they do take them. It is fascinating what happens in this field.
Now, obviously, Albert Bourla, in that context, is talking about a healthcare medicine that presumably could be administered with people with diminished ability to take responsibility for themselves.
Yeah, who might go a bit on a stab, yeah? And we can either keep them in jail or in an institution for their fucking life, or we can give them a pill that lets them lead a normal life, but they got to keep taking the fucking pills, so they're going to go on a bit of a stab, eh?
I.e. schizophrenia patients. Therefore, it would be unfair and unjust for me to suggest that there is a plan in place to put that kind of...
Well, what the fuck do you think you're doing? Of course that's what he's doing. Shut the fuck up.
Technology into medicines that are given to people that still are in charge of their faculties. But just knowing that Pfizer have the ability to do that.
Dude, I've got the ability to commandeer a bomber and before I am shot out of the sky, strafe bomb an entire city. It'd be hard, but I could do it. I could fly a plane. I'm not going to. Ability isn't the thing you have to worry about.
Suggests to me that democracy and transparency must be...
Fucker, he said that in front of a live audience. Yeah, me and an A10 Warthog. Goddamn, yeah. I'm not saying that Russell should be worried. I'm just allowing for the inference thereof.
Key principles when dealing with pharmaceutical companies, along with new regulations that prevent pharmaceutical companies from reaching the kind of profits they reached during the last pandemic.
Why? Why? If they can make something that solves a problem that they themselves did not create, which I think we all agree that COVID wasn't something that Pfizer created, right, fucko? If they can create something unlike the Chinese vaccine, which works fuck all, or bloody Sputnik, the Russian one that sucks, then they should be able to make money on it, because arguably that's a company we want around, because there are going to be other diseases, and it'd be nice to have some quality people working on these fucking things that might be able to solve the next problem.
If we want transparency, if we want
Again, this motherfucker said this on a fucking dais in front of a live audience with a micro. He had a lapel mic on. What you mean transparency, you tit?
clarity, even if we want pragmatism when dealing with matters of health,
you don't.
You cannot have the warping objective of those kind of profits anywhere in the matrix.
Why? I'm starting to get the idea that the fact that you can make money off these videos, the scarier they are, and the more worried people get, that there's a profit incentive, a perverse profit incentive that drives you, Russell Brand, to create worse and worse videos about increasingly bullshit, scarier messages just to terrorize your audience into subscribing and showing up every fucking day. Gee, I don't know where I got that idea.
Behaviors. Otherwise, you will get a reality that is organized around the most powerful forces in the system. And if the most powerful
That was a weird edit.
forces are corporate profit and state control.
All right. By the way, what state are we talking about? We talking about a democracy, or we talking about a monarchy? We talking about Russia or China? It's because there's a big fucking difference in those states, mate.
You will discover that you are living in a reality organized around those principles.
Bullshit.
Is monkeypox nothing? Is it hysterical confection in order to increase regulation? I don't know yet.
I don't know, but it won't stop me from making a terrifying video about how they're trying to chip your insides and infect you with the disease just so that they can solve it later.
Probably it's neither of those things. But if you haven't
Well, now you tell us, 15 minutes into the fucking video.
learned from the last couple of years that we should be circumspect about regulation. We should be circumspect
About regulation? Yeah, you know what, you're right. I don't know why they stopped that baby formula coming out of that Sturgis plant. Too many regulations, that's what I say. Sure, we lost, 6 babies got sick and 2 died from a batch from there, but, it's just specialty formula for kids who are sick anyways, right, Russell? I mean, what happens? I mean, are those kids really keepers after all?
about granting the opportunity to generate huge profits to companies like Pfizer, then I don't think you've been paying proper attention.
Yeah? I'm sorry, have we not watched enough of your fucking videos?
Let me know in the comments.
Yeah, look at this. Let me know in the comments if you've been watching enough of my videos to be afraid and shit in your pants. And also, back to the hand gestures, you can also see me live in Hull and Derbury and Pork Knuckle.
If you agree with that, I think that this is a time for increased democracy. You being able to control your own.
This motherfucker with the, Democrats and Republicans are 2 legs in the same pair of pants is telling me more democracy.
Community yourself, whether that's a work community, an education community, a health community,
a QAnon Reddit group,
a geographical community. This is a time for
yeah, you should basically wall off your community. If you live in a subdivision or a gated community, you should build the gate a little higher, because the unwashed, sickened masses are going to be showing up at your door with some blood disease given to them by Bill Gates. I'm not saying they're going to come over the wall. I'm not saying they're going to give you the disease and you have something to be afraid of and they're going to steal all your firewood and eat your fucking cat. But I'm also saying, how would I know if they're not going to? And it's something that perhaps we should all be circumspect about and maybe spend at least a good deal of our time worrying about again.
More democracy, not less. And in order to have proper democracy, you need transparency. You need freedom of speech. You need the ability to communicate freely.
Right, says the asshole who's on YouTube and Rumble. And you do. The rules in my country about free speech are better than the rules in your country, you ass.
What concerns me about the ongoing hysteria and propagation of fear is
that I don't know if I'll be able to keep making this much money off of them for long. It's almost like you guys are going to get worn out.
Creating a climate where we can't think straight, where we can't see straight, where we're afraid to say the wrong thing the whole time. That's the exact opposite of what we need. It's the exact opposite of
What the fuck are you talking about now? What are you on about? The fuck does this have to do with monkeypox?
what we deserve, and we need to unite beyond traditional tribes right now
Beyond traditional tribes. Oh, I see. Third party.
in order to confront it. But that's just what I think. What
Ah, fuck off. I don't even need to hear his fucking sales point after this. I'm disgusted. Good night. I wasn't expecting to stick with that face through the whole thing, but I think it was worthwhile. The idea that this guy, it's almost like he made that video in an attempt to try and make a good, panic video to make some money off of this before it fades as a news story. Methinks he wants to use slurs and such. I get that feeling. Did no one tell him yet that philosophers usually worked out ideas and then shred? Yes. Alone, then shred? Yeah. UK doesn't have free speech. We have freedom of expression. Right, which is very different. Right. Should really be more afraid of Alex Jones showing up at his house with a lobster bib on and some cutlery. That's right. Yeah, it was brutal. Click on my link as I point at my dick. Right. Cats are going to rise up. Yeah, that was rough. And again, this is him profiteering off of fear. That's what you're seeing. This is what Russell Brand does. He's a fear farmer. And just so you know, the good news is, and I hope this brightens your day, anything that Russell Brand is on about is something you don't have to worry about anymore. By the time he's gotten to it, the threat has passed. He's just going oh shit, I got to make money off this before it goes over the hill. So yeah. Lobster bib, I know. Oh dear, imagine Alex Jones eating a cat alive. I would rather not. Thank you, Trisha, for subscribing. I was looking at like a casting room, Prince John. I've just got a little scruff going on. It's nothing big. I'm not trying out for the Johnny Depp movie anytime soon. So let's jump on to the next little bit. I mean, there's so much to draw from. That's long. Let's see. What's the shorter one? I think this is, hold on. Control minus. Okay. Try to squeeze this down. Hold on one second. I'm trying to get something to fit in the frame. Well, let's go to some people who I don't have any popcorn, which is very disappointing for this next clip. Since we've got Boris Epshteyn on the War Room with Steve Bannon talking about the Super Georgia establishment is coming out against MAGA. This is their biggest concern is that Kemp and all those guys, the problem is Republicans. The problem is their fellow Republicans are going to attack, Trump's perfect MAGA movement, and they're screwed because of it. Hold on one second. Let me grab this down. There you go. So here we go. Boris Epshteyn, just for the record, both of these assholes are rooting for Ukraine to fail. Just for the record.
Here's what's strange. How does Raffensperger never go below 50% the entire night?
Because he's popular with both Republicans, which are largely in that state, and a huge swath of independents, and even some Democrats, because even though he's a Republican, he pushed back against Trump's attempt to take over.
Kemp, I can't buy that, the spread, but hey, it is what it is. I'm sure we'll find out more about it later.
Yeah, no, he's very popular in Georgia. And Perdue is a dipshit who lost in the Senate race, and people haven't forgotten.
But how does Roethlisberger not go below 50% the entire night? On that one, I'm just telling you, I'm not a buyer. I'm not buying that. There's something either Democrats coming over to vote. There's something weird about that.
Yeah, something weird about that. Yeah, there's all sorts of rat fuckery. It couldn't be that Purdue is incredibly unpopular and the Republicans have no interest in running a balanced ticket anywhere. And Trump's sales pitch is worth fuck all in any state that matters.
This doesn't feel, particularly given his reputation among all MAGA. I mean, Steve Cortez brought up a great point today.
That's actually never happened.
MTG up in Georgia 14, up there near the Tennessee border. I think the reddest county, besides maybe one that's on the Florida border, she wins, I don't know, by 50%. Roethlisberger wins it by 20%. That just doesn't make sense.
Exactly.
That Roethlisberger could be.
Yeah, I mean, I would go with that. If there is any voter fraud in the country, it's all Republicans. Why not?
Right. There's a dissonance. There's a disconnect.
There's a dissonance. Dissonance is is the accusation that they are dissonancy boys? Is that what we're doing? I'm kidding.
What?
All right.
Between, look at Herschel Walker.
Yeah. Look at Herschel Walker. I mean, could you ask for a more qualified candidate?
Blows it away, right? And then Raffensperger is winning the same counties and winning them at huge margins. And Kemp goes to the same margin as Herschel Walker, who's endorsed and a MAGA favorite. Again, my point.
That's because the other people don't have any chance of winning. They think Herschel Walker's got a shot.
The point is this.
And Walker got fewer.
Is that, for whatever that reason may be, it may be that
Republicans are in charge of all election fraud in the entire country, and that they rigged the election to try and help Trump win.
What?
And that they ultimately failed, and that's why they know exactly where all the fraud supposedly took place, because they paid for it. And Trump especially is very aware that he was losing brutally and decided...
the establishment...
No, nothing.
In Georgia sucked up all the funding and sucked up all the ads. It may be that the campaigns just never broke through, never went up on TV, as you said, and touted the endorsement enough, or for some other reason.
Yeah, like his endorsement ain't worth shit.
But if you look at the night, and if you look, I'm a big believer, and you said, asked me about polling and trajectories and fault lines, right? And the way that the candidates behave over time, and elections behave over time. If you look at the night, MAGA comes in hot all over the country, and in Georgia, including, as you said, on MTG, and another endorsement win. And then all of a sudden, just these races, only where the super Georgia establishment was running, there you've got these big spreads, and it doesn't even go into runoffs. To me, something is fishy.
So basically the argument, again, is that Kemp and Raffensperger rigged the election against Donald Trump. This is going to be great this fall. By the way, everyone, please enjoy the elections this fall in Georgia. Walker doesn't have a fucking shot. Kemp and Raffensperger, if they are throwing this thing his way, their way, they're going to throw it against Walker. So, and they're going to work with Raphael Warnock and protect him or something, if that's the fakery that they're doing. If they're actually rigging it, that's how it's going to shake down. More than likely they aren't. And that's just how the voters are going, and Walker doesn't have a fucking chance.
Let me.
Oh, Sarah, happy birthday! Right on, Sarah JWR5PATDS. Yeah, it's your birthday. Happy birthday!
Also, one other point: you've got Crowley, who's an insider advantage, and he's a Fox 5 guy. Knows Georgia. I think most people say Crowley knows Georgia better than anybody. Right. Towler. Yeah,
Tower, Trawler, whatever. Yeah, Schooner. Just everybody calls him Skeeter.
You've got.
He's friends with Kavanaugh's buddy Squee. Do these names really matter?
Trafalgar, who I think is from there.
Pretty
good, pretty strong. And you got Barris, who's as good as they get on the big data poll. So you got even a different methodology coming. They all say, hey, look, we've looked at this. He was up that much, but there's definitely a trend line as Purdue's gotten more motivated, gotten out there more. He's hitting it. He sees after the debates, all that.
Yeah, no, that's not the way it went.
All those guys are in the 50s, right? They're in the mid 50s. And the numbers just to blow. I mean, they called this thing at 801. It just.
Yeah, it's almost as if all the complaints that they had from Arizona to Georgia to any of these states all happened around areas where Republicans run shit. Weird.
Something was squirrely, right? And we're not implying, we're not trying to imply anything's fishy.
No. You weren't. Russell Brand's not. There's a big. I'm noticing a big trend lately in people going, "I'm not saying what I'm saying."
But it's something was bizarre. Remember, I called you at 801 and said, I don't get this. I don't know how. And all of a sudden, bang, they're up, and guys are calling it right away.
And there's undoubtedly a combination of factors.
Yeah, it's a bunch of factors. Republicans are thieves. They can't be trusted. They're incompetent. They're morons. They lose to their own side, and their own side cheats against them. A myriad of factors.
Look at John Gordon. John Gordon is totally MAGA. We had him on the show a ton, right? You've talked to him. The base loves him. The numbers that he came up with, again, it doesn't make sense in terms of a electorate that's informed. So what I'm saying is there could be several explanations for it. One is that electorate never got informed.
Right.
2 is that the electorate was just too ingrained with the establishment. And 3, something else. And
yeah, what's that something else? You mean the something else that Republicans are shivving each other?
And we don't know what that is. That's a known unknown, I guess. Rest in peace, Don Rumsfeld. But the point is this. Again, look at the trend lines. President Trump is 106 and 7 in his endorsements, and that 7 is over half in Georgia. Again, something doesn't line up. But here's what I'll say to the posse, and this is very important.
The posse. By the way, the War Room has a posse.
Just 10 more seconds on this.
Wrap it up.
Here's what I want to say. Authenticity is paramount. MAGA is paramount. And if the bottom line here is that the posse and MAGA movement just didn't buy that David Perdue was authentic MAGA, so be it. Because the candidates we've got running across the country who are still going to be up in their primaries, the Greitens, Blake Masters, Adam Laxalt in Nevada. This is full-on MAGA, not trying to change themselves from...
They're fucking QAnons.
Sometime in the past. And now we saw what happened in Georgia. And we move on. Now, what do we do about Georgia? Well, that's to be determined. And frankly, that's up to Brian Kemp. Brian Kemp, if he calls for a full forensic investigation of the 2020 election,
why would he? There's no need for it. And if they did, what are they going to find out? That these assholes tried to help Trump as much as they could, and he fucked it up.
Investigates election. If he has his AG hold people accountable based on the True the Vote info 2,000 Mules.
Oh my God. Don't make me do another 2,000 Mules debunking video of fucking Dinesh D'Souza. I think tomorrow, maybe Friday show in the afternoon, we should do 2,000 Mules, the whole thing. Just because it's so fucking ridiculous. But in many ways, I'm sorry, every time you see Russell, I'm sorry. He just has to be dealt with.
Maybe there's a conversation to be had, but that's a conversation that has to be initiated by real action by Brian Kemp. Otherwise, not a shot. Not interested.
This is what I've said from day.
Yeah, not interested. They're not going to vote for Brian Kemp in the fall, giving Stacey Abrams a statistical advantage that will be hard for Kemp to come back from, even if everybody who voted for him in the primary and supports him comes out to. All the people grinding about it should have been Perdue because it was Trump are not voting this fall.
This is what I've said from day one, and people know that I thought that Vernon Jones, and I realize Vernon Jones is not the perfect candidate,
he's this close.
Not a perfect instrument, but I was advocating Vernon Jones because I said, look, just where MAGA stands, you're going to have 5 or 10% of our hardest core guys, the ultra MAGA guys, that are just men and women, are just going to say, I can't do it. I can't go through this. We still got to get to the bottom of 3 November. He shut the whole thing down, and he's got Roethlisberger.
Yeah, okay, so what he's saying is their best candidates that they think are going to be ultra MAGA aren't going to want to go through the process of running for office in the future because we still haven't dealt with 2020. If the fucking candidates won't do that, what do you think the voters are going to do? I'm telling you, this fall, there was a point where Trump could detach this 2020 bullshit away from, I mean, he couldn't personally because he's incapable of anything but fucking up. But like Bannon and these assholes could do it. They could stop talking about 2020 and really push people to fucking vote and try to get people, back on board. And they're not. And they're just, if they can't get the candidates to muster up because they're like 2020 was stolen from us. Sure as shit, the average voter in the ultra MAGA, the people who consider themselves the most MAGA, aren't going to show the fuck up. Half of them, for them, Walker is a I'll show you candidate. They don't believe in him. They're still litigating 2020. Exactly. They're going to stay home, Seema.
I can't do it. And that's going to open up for Stacey Abrams. One thing.
Yes, exactly. Right. That's exactly what's going to happen. Hoorah. And this is coming from a person who believes everyone should vote. But it's your choice. If you don't want to vote, that is voting. And these assholes staying home is, in some ways, might only mitigate some of the, the TYT fans that never fucking vote or say they're going to or do every presidential thing but bow out when it comes to the midterms. That, statistically in Georgia, that's not going to be a factor, but the maggots will be.
One thing I will guarantee you, everybody's going to have to turn out for Kemp to win. It's just, you're going to have 100.
Yeah, and that's not going to happen.
100% turn. Everybody's going to have to get to the ramparts.
The ramparts. The voting booth, you fuck.
Have that happen, something's got to happen from Kemp. Kemp, I think, has got to have some type of rapprochement, and
Oh, my God.
Gotta tell you, Captain
Rapprochement. What's his raison d'etre? That's what I'm asking.
Bannon did it on all the different
you
platforms.
Even MAGA, bro?
8 or 10 while we're live in the morning, maybe more, 12. Just these are the chat rooms, people coming on and actually participating. And the numbers were huge this morning. And she said, Dad, hey, first off, 50% we're all worked up and not going to back off. She said there's at least 10% are just saying, hey, I've had it.
Right. That's it. Not 3%. Not oh shit, we're within shooting distance. It's a 3 to 5% margin between the candidates. They're talking about 10 fucking percent of his viewers who are hardcore. And that means that these are just the ones watching that are doing this. There's a bunch of them that watch other shows and other live streams that are like, fuck this, I'm not voting this fall.
If it's Brian Kemp, I'm not going to be there.
Yeah. And who did this? Who's responsible for this shit? One person, Donald John Trump. If Stacey Abrams is governor of Georgia, besides the hard work that she's put in over the years, the one factor that will guarantee that she becomes governor and that we retain our senator seats in Georgia, it's going to be fucking Trump. Because he fucked it up and he can't let it go. And all he does is hold grudges. And he's a moron. Thank God.
10% is the difference between a Kemp victory and a Stacey Abrams victory. There's no doubt. Kemp has got to be. He shouldn't be worried about suburban housewives.
And worried about suburban housewives. That's it. These assholes are not going to show up unless he orders a forensic audit of the 2020 election. He's not going to fucking do that.
And by the way, Steve, we've seen a lot of these election nights come and go. When the base is that hot, do you usually see establishment candidates blowout win? I don't. Just saying.
Yeah, it's all rigged. Apparently, everybody's all in on Brian Kemp rigs elections. This is what they're thinking about.
Okay. Give your so people can get your newsletter tomorrow and get more about this.
Boring.
How they follow you on social?
Yeah, I don't care. That's the extra 20 seconds to sell that. I'm telling you, this is the word on the street, and enjoy this, folks. I know some days it's hard to find a silver lining politically or nationally, and this is one of them. And you know me, I'm hardcore. I want everybody to vote every single time, even if you disagree with me, even if you're a Republican or an independent. Really, just fucking pick a side. Can you stop pretending? It's annoying. I'm not really. Shut the fuck up. You are too. But in any of these situations, like the silver lining this time around is that Trump, because he keeps holding a grudge, will never be able to let this shit go. And he's going to fuck up some major national elections and may be singularly responsible for us retaining the Senate and the House. I don't believe this fucking red wave bullshit at all. And especially when the Roe v. Wade ruling comes out in June, and next week or week after, I think it's the 6th, when they're going to reveal this shit. If it's what's in there, dude. Like, and again, Republicans have gained women over this issue. There are, pro-life women and anti-abortion women, or women who've just been bullshitted into thinking that Democrats are the party of, abort a baby at 9 months and 1 day, abort it when you're 15, when the baby is 15 and you get bored of him is bullshit. Like, that's what they think. And so they've garnered a small wedge of those people. The problem that they have is that small wedge of people are QAnons, are like bizarre true believers, and a lot of them don't want to register to vote because they believe all sorts of other bullshit. So while a pollster will ask them, how do you feel about this? And they'll tell them they're not going to show up to fucking vote anymore. I'm telling you, like, there's nothing going to stop, there's going to be a blue wave this fall, and it's going to baffle everybody's mind, and Trump's going to scream to the high fucking heavens about rigged elections again when it's his reason. He's the main reason why this all got fucked up. Because he won't let 2020 go. He won't admit he lost. And he thinks nothing's changed. And now that Raffensperger and Kemp have won their primaries, the fix is in. And he's not going to stop attacking Kemp as they lead up to this election. Yes, plus they killed a bunch of their own people with COVID. Yes, and there's some sprawl about that. I am right. And I'm going to be on everybody to vote like we're doing 2020 again, and we need the turnout. There can be no ambiguity about this. We need to start marching towards 60 plus in the Senate and a 150 seat margin in the House. Then people can start going, we gave you all this, Democrats, it's time to deliver. But until then, when you can have somebody filibuster or put an anonymous hold on something and you don't have 60 senators to turn it over and the Republicans are operating in lockstep most of the time, we're not going to get anywhere. And just excusing it and going, well, we should have won. We've got, the fucking, if the vice president is breaking tie votes, we ain't there yet. And you're not being asked to do a lot. All you're being asked to do is fucking vote like you give a shit about any of the issues that anybody says. Yeah, vote blue in 22. Early and often. Nope, vote once. It's crucial. We have Manchin, and we're going to keep Manchin. That's not important. You want to overwhelm him. If you get rid of him, he's going to be replaced with a conservative Republican who's not going to vote any of our way on any fucking thing. I don't want to hear about this bullshit. Unless you live in Arizona, I don't want to hear any gripes about Kristen Sinema. If you live in West Virginia, you can bitch about Manchin and you can try to do something about it. But if you live anywhere else, fuck off. Make sure that your House reps, your state reps, your senator, your governor are all blue. I'm not going to vote for the Democrats because Manchin's chewing stuff up. That's what they want you to do. That's what Republicans are counting on you to do. That is their equivalent of Trump fucking up 2020, bitching about 2020 and fucking up this election. The answer is no, 100 times no, fuck no. Vote. And anybody who's like, but they, blah, blah, blah. When we've got a hair's breadth where one heart attack and a conservative governor can throw up make another mansion out of a left-leaning Dem, or fucking flip the seat. And while we need the vice president to break ties, we should be ashamed of ourselves for going, well, we can skate now. We own the fucking place. But my corporate Dems. That's right, Rose. But my corporate Dems. Yeah. By the way, everybody on YouTube that you see saying that, from Jimmy Dore to TYT, they're all incorporated. They're corporations. Just saying, for the record. Sam Cedar says, vote for fewer concentration camps every time. Yes, if you believe it's a choice between the lesser of two evil, choose less evil every fucking time. Not like, I'm going to show them. If you break away when we have a hair's breadth in the Senate, you're like, I just think we should have, the two-party system is fucked. That argument can be had when we're at 85 Dems and the Greens want to grow out of the Democratic side. And we're splitting into true third parties. But the Republican Party is a threat to legit democracy and the rights of every woman and every minority person in this country and every white person that isn't a billionaire. So fuck off with this nonsense. Everybody vote. Ugh. Other than that, I have no opinion. All right. We got time for one more. It's so hard to choose. Well, here, let's see. It's time for some horseshoe theory. This one's long, though. Fucking hell. All right. Can I bail out of this dickhead if he just does his regular bullshit? Can we do half this thing? These long-ass pieces. I get stuck in these fucking ballads, man. I reserve the right to bow out after 10 minutes because I think everything they're going to say will be said in that time period.
And we're talking about what Kissinger had to say about...
By the way, let's let this sink in for a moment. Jimmy Dore, with the fresh dye jobs, he must be going on Tucker, is agreeing with Henry Kissinger. He's agreeing with what Henry Kissinger said on in Business Insider. Can we recognize what the fuck that is? So Jimmy Dore is sides with Kissinger. Mm-hmm.
About Ukraine. Kissinger says Ukraine must give up land to Russia, warns West not to seek to humiliate Putin with defeat.
Yeah, it's because he doesn't have a dog in that fight in stabilizing the Russian control over oil and gas in Europe.
And
fuck him. No.
That picture looks like he just let out a very long fart.
No, it doesn't. I mean, it looks like he's telling a dirty joke, and he's just at the punchline.
Henry Kissinger said Ukraine must concede territory to Russia. How is this going to end?
It's going to end with the Ukrainians driving the Russians out of Crimea and Donbass and reclaiming their borders pre-2014. That's how it's going to end. And with the Russian administration, that Putin either being deposed or it shattering their stranglehold on Russia as a federation.
Henry Kissinger.
Fuck him.
Not known to be a soft lefty.
Yeah, neither are you. I mean, like, at what point, by the way, can we just agree, like Jimmy talks about Aaron Mate and calls him anti-war when all he is pro-surrender. He's not anti-war because he's all for whatever the fuck the Russians want to do now and forever. That they had the right to do what they did in 2014. They had the right to do it again in 2022. What makes you think that Jimmy and Aaron Mate or any of these fuckheads are going to not agree that, well, Russia has to push further into Kiev from the area they claimed? Yes, P.S. Putin is sick and dying.
Says that Ukraine must concede territory to Russia to end the war and warned that the West that a humiliating defeat for Russia could result in wider destabilization. So Putin's gotten to Kissinger too, I guess. That's what this.
No, he just believes in an old world order. And he thinks that the threat of Russia, that mutual assured destruction is an envelope under which Russia can do whatever the fuck it wants to anybody. That Chechnya and Georgia, the expansion into that area are next. That Belarus expanding into Latvia and Lithuania with Russia's help will be the next stage of this. That Putin's look at the old maps that include parts of Poland and shit, that's just natural. And that it's okay. The Statesman, now 98.
The Statesman, now 98, made the comments in a conference at the World Economic Forum in Davos, the WEF. You know those people?
Yes, apparently you agree now with what Kissinger says at the World Economic Forum in Davos. Lefty says what?
On Monday, the Telegraph reported. Ian Bremmer says, I've never seen a Davos crowd give a standing ovation for a virtual speech before. Zelensky, this guy. He's like,
yeah, again, why is it funny that they're giving him a standing ovation? Why is it worth mockery? That I don't understand. Like, people are legit fucking dying in Ukraine, fighting for their country. Russia is digging mass graves. They're strafe bombing civilian areas. They're raping women and children. Like, this isn't even a question anymore. And yet the idea that they're giving Zelensky applause for being a smaller country and pushing back against Russia by themselves. I mean, they're getting weapons from us and they're getting some intel, like satellite stuff, both from us and shit they can buy on the fucking internet. Like, OSINT in this case is the real hero of Russia, pushing back against Russia's invasion of Ukraine is OSINT, the open source intelligence that's now available. There are like people in Poland flying like consumer drones over the area and then just emailing pictures of where Russians are in the Black Sea and in Crimea and in, the Donbass and the Donetsk and Luhansk areas.
It's like the Bono of politics now. It shows up in his T-shirt because he's fighting a war. And
I'm sorry, you've only got one shirt with French cuffs this week? The fuck, he's doing stuff. He takes off his gear to sit down. He just doesn't want to do the fucking show in a bulletproof vest. Anytime he goes anywhere, he has to wear flak jackets because the Russians want to assassinate him.
Everybody loves just.
What do you mean what is worth mocking of this dude? For real.
So Kissinger says that Kissinger was the architect of the détente with China under Nixon.
Yeah, which was great. Didn't fuck America's business or security interests at all. It's not like China's become a horrifying dragon over the years because of how they managed that or decided not to.
Administration. And he's one of the world's foremost advocates of realpolitik, in which nations put morals and principles aside to achieve their aim.
Right. So fuck look, what we want is stability in the region for business. And if it requires a bunch of dead Ukrainians and allowing the Russians to salami slice their way across Europe, fuck it, who cares? This is straight up old school Chamberlain bullshit. And Jimmy thinks they deserve it because they're fucking Nazis.
So that's good that Kissinger is giving them a reason to seek peace that doesn't involve morals or principles, right? He's just being realpolitik about it.
That's what you're arguing. Jimmy has the same argument as Marjorie Taylor Greene about Russia and Ukraine. The fucking exact same argument.
Prolonged war is a shitty idea outside of any concern for needless loss of human life or any of that other fake politic hippie shit, right? You need a good non-moral reason to not do it. He goes on, negotiations.
Well, no, you would fight on to keep them from killing your people. They have said they are going to wipe out Ukrainians as a people.
Need to begin in the next 2 months.
Yeah, that's because in the next 2 months, Russia will run out of the ability to fight.
Before it creates upheavals and tensions that will not be easily overcome.
We're already past that point.
Ideally, the dividing line should be a return to the status quo ante.
Yeah, go back to just letting Russia keep whatever it's got so far.
That's Kissinger. Pursuing the war beyond that point would not be about the freedom of Ukraine, but a new war against Russia itself.
What? There is no new war against Russia itself. They started this in 2014. World War I and World War II both went on for years. This is like saying, look, giving back parts of Poland to Poland will be a new war against Germany. Shut the fuck up.
Wow. Do you think?
What do you mean, wow? All right, what have we seen so far? We've seen Jimmy mock Zelensky as a clown and a showboater and calling him Bono and saying that, you know, we should listen to Henry fucking Kissinger.
I think the Davos guests were rolling their eyes at that. Yeah, no shit, Kissinger. The whole thing is a proxy war with Russia. You think we give a shit about Ukraine? Most of us just now found out that it's not called the Ukraine.
No, we didn't. He's catching shit about it. That's a tell. Jimmy gets shit about it occasionally because the Ukraine is what the Russians say about it. And he's getting notes from people going, dude, when you call it the Ukraine, that's what they call it on RT because that means it's a territory owned by the Russians. The Ukraine, kind of like the Rockies in the United States.
Okay. Kissinger's comments imply that Ukraine should accept a peace deal to restore the situation.
What peace deal? There is none. The only deal offered by Russia is an extension of the land they already had pre-2014 and the entire southern border. All right, hold on one second. Okay, hold on. All right, here we go. If I may, let's see. I'm trying to find a video. Hold on. There's a bunch of new stuff, so. There you go. Here's this is phosphorus munitions being used against Ukrainians in Ukraine by the Russians. I'm sure Jimmy will have a video about this being a false flag and that the Ukrainians bombed themselves with phosphorus rounds. But there's another thing. Hold on, if I may. I'm looking for one particular one. Here's here you go. Hold on. This is a stretch right here.
Позиционируя вот как показывают и как представляют свои войска.
Let me back this up. Based on Ukraine's representations of the way its forces are positioned on the Eastern Front, there are up to 35 nationalist battalions. That is a very large force. They are very motivated. He's talking about the Ukrainians. You can't change or convince them. They have to be dealt with until the victorious end. We have to either destroy them or wait until they sustain major injuries and mass casualties. We have to convince them through force, which is the military diplomatic way. On the southern front, forces are concentrated south of Kherson towards the estuary. There are some successes, but Marines are stationed there. There was a training center of special forces. Those military units are very strong. They're also very motivated. They should be dealt with only through force, meaning they have to be physically destroyed. There is no other way. But there are certain successes, like Eduardo Basurin said, we're wrapping around Avdiivka, but there's no sense to enter large towns right now. All of them are mined. All schools, hospitals, and artillery positions. Solely to put up our flag in the center of town. We would risk major losses. So that wouldn't make any sense. To the south and southwest of Mykolaiv, to the northwest of Mykolaiv. Now we're using artillery and rocket launchers, howitzers and cannons, and some air force. Not much air force, mainly the Black Sea Fleet, which can only be helicopters because we fucked up their one aircraft carrier. It's even more beneficial in Kharkiv in the north. To the south and southwest of it. He's just pointing out where they've got some strategic strongholds and they've got some ships. They can fire some long-range shit. Why aren't we going into the Kharkiv? It's a big city, which is too much for us to handle. She doesn't like the sound of that. It's a big city, which is too much for us to handle, without jeopardizing our armed forces. These are the current military circumstances. So, right now, the Ukrainians are not losing. If anything, the exact opposite is true. They are doing quite well. Let's see, independence in Ukraine. Let's see. This is how they view the Ukrainians. Hold on one second, if I may. Whoops, I scrolled down. Sorry. Here you go. This is they're talking about. This is after McDonald's left. This is their reaction to just not having McDonald's. American children have nothing to eat, and Ukrainian children are getting shells and bombs. Hold on, wait, I gotta bring the audio down on this guy a little bit. It's fun to hear a little bit of it, but which are supposed to somehow secure their future, which is most interesting. They'll have no fathers, no homes, a burned out country. And they'll have nothing that American children have. That's what Western countries bring to Ukrainian people. But they'll have McDonald's. Yes, but it will be burnt due to what's going on. And they're laughing about it. They're not stopping. The whole idea, let's see. Hold on one second. There's so much to this shit. Yeah, here you go. This is, I think, this kind of answers Jimmy's bullshit pretty well, too. Hold on, this guy right here. So, you back this up. Yeah, the audio's still down there. Good. Okay. The troops of LPR and DPR are fighting for their land. So this is the whole, like, these are these isolated regions, that they said were independent right before they invaded. And now I have a question. What would the Ukrainian territorial defense fight for in these regions? As if Donetsk and Luhansk and Crimea weren't originally Ukrainian territory and these people aren't enraged that it was taken and handed over to Russians. It's like saying, I don't know why the Palestinians keep fighting. By the way, there's a lot of parallels between the problems people have with Israel acting towards Palestine and the Palestinian people and Russia's bullshit in Donetsk and Luhansk and Crimea. So there's incredible parallels, like the promising not to expand and then expanding, killing the locals, driving them out, taking over their homes, all that kind of shit that's been happening since like early 2014. Normally, people like Jimmy and his buddies would all argue that they side with the Palestinians. And yet in this situation, because it's Russia, somehow they get a fucking pass. At that point, you're like, well, maybe it is some sort of bizarre anti-Semitic thing because they hate Israel for doing this, but they don't hate Russia for doing the same fucking thing. Because I don't think you don't have to be anti-Semitic to not like what Israel does in the Palestinian territories. Pretty cut and dry for me. But when you have a problem with it and you don't have a problem with this, I think that's the definition of being anti-Semitic about it. Okay, none of it is their land. None of it is their. So LPR and DPR, none of it's their land. Because why? Because in 2014, which was not that fucking long ago, these assholes invaded, killed or deported all the Ukrainians in that area that wouldn't vote their way, threatened them with death or murdered them, and then brought in shit tons of Russians to fill in the city. It's ours now. And the Russian army is fighting for its land. We're telling people, come to your senses. Well then, sorry, why is it the Russian army fighting for the Luhansk and Donetsk independent regions? Aren't those people their own country right now? They're independent regions. That was all bullshit. Remember who you are. Look what's being done to you. Look who conquered you. The Ukrainians conquered the Russian people in Ukraine. Remember your great past. Remember your Germanic roots. Remember that you are the tribe of Germania. The Thule Society will lead you. This dude with his fucking Beatles jacket kills me because he wears it a lot. Wake up, stop lying to yourself. What are they lying to themselves about? That their Ukrainian identity exists. By the way, if we have trolls in here, welcome trolls. Feel free to write something as long as it's not grotesque. I know that takes work for a lot of you. Try to avoid racial epithets and hate language, but you can jibber jabber about your political problems all you want because it lets the algorithm know that I am interesting. It helps immensely. I do not have dirt on my lip. I have scruff. Leave me alone. Why are they making up a language for you? So Ukrainian as a language has to be wiped out. You're a Russian. Do you need the language Zelensky is trying to speak? Meaning Ukrainian? Look at the history that is being made up for you. This guy's not happy. That guy's fairly miserable. Russian Steve Jobs is having a rough day. But that's not all. Also, we are in Russophone 14, tracking devices don't weigh heavily on you. Look at the history that is being made up for you. The religion that is being made up for you. So you're supposed to be Eastern Orthodox Russian Church or whatever. That's why the people are for us. They aren't. Westerners say they don't greet you with flowers. Yes, they are. Big time. Yes, that's what's happening. They're being greeted with flowers. Apparently, flowers, the word for flowers and the words for javelin are the same in Russian. Despite their fear, they're welcoming us. You mean when... All right. Like, even she's not buying this shit. By the way, I think she was fantastic as one of the evil princess's helpers in Flash Gordon. Flash! Ah! Thank you, Mark. When you understand that we're never leaving. Do you see that? When they understand that we're never leaving. Fucking hell. We're never leaving. Ukrainians don't exist. Their language is fake. They have no right to that land. They're on Russian land now. They're never going to take Luhansk and Donetsk because that's full of Russians, because we filled it with Russians after we drove them out. And we're going to do the same thing to the rest of the fucking country. And Jimmy's response is, I mean, isn't it safer if you just lay back and take it?
What it was before February 24th, where Russia formally controlled the Crimea Peninsula.
No, they did not formally control it. They stole it, and they've been sitting on it. That's like saying I mean, say what you will, but the Israelis formally control the Golan Heights and the Palestinian territories. That they put a wall around it. It's their wall. I mean, they control it.
And informally controlled part of Donetsk region in eastern Ukraine. That's called the Donbass. Okay.
Informally. But that's his code word for they murdered all the Ukrainians that lived there, moved in a bunch of Russians, and stole the territory.
And Ukraine officials have opposed the idea that they should give up any territory.
Right. Weird. Fucking and P.S. fuck the Palestinians, right, Jimmy?
Right. You know why?
Because they know they can win?
Because the Nazis in Ukraine will kill them.
What? The Nazis in Ukraine will kill the Ukrainian officials if they don't seize back Crimea? What the shit? What? Like he's, I guess you got to give him some credit for consistency as the hobgoblin of his particular little mind. But that is incredibly fucked up. So they're only, the Ukrainians are only fighting for their land because the 9 Nazis that used to be part of the Azov battalion, who are most likely dead, by the way, killed early and often.
If they say they should do that. Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky said Ukraine...
Voldemort. Fuck you.
...would only accept Russia giving up all claims to land in Ukraine and staging a total withdrawal. So,
Again, I stand by my Palestinian-Israeli parallel, where Jimmy just doesn't give a fuck. Apparently only has a problem when the Israelis do it, so it's a Jew thing.
He has to say that or he's going to be killed by the Nazis. That's not how it's ending.
Yes, it is. That is exactly how it's ending. Jimmy is full of shit. He's not paying attention to any of it except his own little echo chamber of people that are not following this at all.
I'll tell you, I can guarantee you, this is not how the war is ending.
Okay, put a pin in that, because I'm going to go with that's exactly what's going to happen.
It's not happening that way. The way it's going to happen is whatever Vladimir Putin wants, that's how it's going to end.
What? Well, apparently Vladimir Putin wants it to end with him on an operating table, getting a section of his abdomen cut out and fighting blood cancer while he sucks back Pervitin and shakes himself into oblivion. What the... It will end the way Vladimir Putin wants it to end. Jesus Christ. What do you got to do to get your shit played in Russia? Yeah, exactly, Anthony. Slava Ukraine. What? I mean, how lost do you fucking have to be? That's like, I mean, imagine Jimmy saying, the Palestinians can bitch all they want, but it's, you know how this is going to end? It's going to end like Netanyahu wants it to end, okay? Imagine that, because that's basically what you're talking about. What the fuck?
And it's going to end with Ukraine ceding those territories.
No, it isn't.
Kissinger in his...
No, it fucking isn't.
...remarks said that Russia had been an essential part of Europe for 400 years.
Oh, by the way, Jimmy cuts these quotes out, puts them in his little, he uses keynote, or gives these quotes to whoever is, his producer he doesn't name or somebody that he bitches about. They put him in there for him, and these are his highlighted. Like when you would normally do editorial content like this, you would put my emphasis added. Business Insider did not make this text red, just for the record.
Helping balance the power structure at crucial times. He argued that the West should not risk pushing Russia into closer alliance with China.
Why? I mean, I showed you guys on the morning show yesterday, China is fucked right now. China's in a horrible state. They have territorial disputes with Russia. They can get as close as they fucking want. As Joe Biden was saying, good luck in your senior year. We don't, as a matter of fact, letting these two assholes develop their own issues between each other, between Russia and China, is good for the rest of the world. Imagine you're on a playground and the two biggest bullies start beating the rat fuck out of each other because they're like, hey, let's join up and beat up these kids. And one of them's like, absolutely, I'll go first. What do you mean you'll go first? I'm going first. No, fuck you, I'm going first. And then they start punching themselves, and all the kids they were planning on bullying are standing around going, you want to go to lunch? That's what we're talking about. By the way, Jimmy knows nothing about Chinese politics. Jimmy knows nothing about Russian politics. Jimmy knows nothing about Chinese demographics or economics. He doesn't know anything about Russian economics or demographics. None of that shit. Nothing. What he knows is what he knows is that he wants Ukraine to lose because they have to now, because he's all in on this. He's backed this pony to the end.
I hope the Ukrainians will match the heroism that they have shown with wisdom, Kissinger said, adding that Ukraine's proper place was as a natural buffer state rather than a fully integrated part of Europe.
Hey, fucko, you don't get to make that decision. Finland isn't a natural buffer state that's not fully integrated into Europe. Why the fuck would Ukraine have to do that? Simply because they are materially connected to both. Why? Because Finland they're connected to Russia and they have to use boats to get to Europe, essentially proper? Like, yeah, exactly. Proper place according to who? I got news for you. How about this? I'm going to throw this idea. Russia, in its current form as a federation, has no proper place on Earth as a functioning system at all. It's a gangster kleptocracy based on oil and gas, and it's a threat to the natural order of the world and the rules-based order that we've all been operating in. That's like saying that Ukraine has a responsibility to be the bars on the jail that keep these criminals inside. That's not the fucking place that they chose. And it's not your place to tell them. Yeah, right. Israel's a buffer between Syria and Egypt. That's exactly right, Mark. Get out of here with this, like, these fuckers. Ugh.
Wow, so now he's quoting from the Soft on Putin playbook. How does he not get that World War III is worth it if it hurts that one guy we hate named Putin?
And look how Jimmy actually thinks that's what this is. That this is the whole world is reacting to this situation the way they are because they have Putin derangement syndrome. That bloated man bad. That's what he thinks this is. Not that these assholes invaded a sovereign country and there is no reason to believe they will stop there if we don't stop them and if the Ukrainians can't be supported in stopping them. Ask Moldova, you fuck. And again, I don't know what the douchebag smile part of this is. I don't get it. To quote Andrew Dice Clay in Ford Fairlane, the much maligned but in many ways perfect film, the fuck is this asshole smiling about?
Okay, hold on. In recent months, cracks have been showing in the Western alliance against Russian aggression.
No, it hasn't.
With isolationist Republican lawmakers in the U.S. opposing a $40 billion aid package to Ukraine.
Yes, that's where MTG overlaps with him. And by the way, one Republican held it up. It went through. Everybody else signed up for it. One guy was holding it up.
And Hungary stymieing European Union attempts to blockade Russian oil.
Because they wanted concessions, and they got them.
As inflation creeps up, public opposition to the war may also increase.
Yeah, and so Jimmy's arguing that money is a good reason to just let Russians rape and murder Ukrainians.
Isolationists, the anti-vaxxers.
Thank you, 250. Okay, thank you for the ad time. I appreciate that. And Salty Sylvester, thanks for gifting the subs. You guys are lovely. Right on.
Of statecraft, how I hate them.
In recent, yeah, it's a flat earther response.
The isolationist. And here's what friend of the show Jackson Hinkle says. Speaking at the World Economic Forum, Henry Kissinger said the Ukraine should cede territory to Russia to help end the invasion. Kissinger made this claim not because he's a Russian asset, but because he understands that Europe's economy is beginning to implode.
Sorry, there was supply shock and CPI inflation already before this shit happened. And Europe ultimately decoupling from Russian oil and gas is a positive thing, not a negative. It will speed up that process. But your economy imploding because you were overly reliant on Russia when they have attacked and seized territory from Chechnya, from Georgia, and from Ukraine now, in a way that it's just wars of attrition. Just anybody in the way just deserves to fucking die. Also, like, Jimmy will go on and on about how, like, drone strikes from the U.S. or military actions and everything that Assange has shown proves that the United States is foul. It's never does anything good in the world and deserves to be lambasted at every turn. It is the source of all evil in the world. But Russia can roll into Crimea or Afghanistan, for that matter, or Georgia or Ukraine, and they kind of have to, because there's Nazis and there's lots of Nazis there, and the Nazis there. Meanwhile, the United States, because of because of what we do. Let's see. There we go. Yeah. Here you go. Jimmy thinks that they have the right to invade because there's Nazis there, right? Remember that? The Nazis, that's the reason why, Russia has every right to attack Ukraine. There's like 29 Nazis there. Most of them are dead now. They died early in the battle. If they were even old, if they weren't too old to fight, because the stories he's using a long time ago are, from years ago. Meanwhile, this is the Houthis in 2021. I've shown you guys this, some of you guys this before. These are the Houthi rebels in Yemen that America has, helped Saudi Arabia push back against.
Every time you see this logo, think about one thing.
I'm thinking about whatever.
All of your work.
Yeah, see that? They're all yelling death to America, death to the Jews. The whole thing is death to America, death to Israel, curse the Jews. That's what they're doing while they're doing the Nazi. So according to the Jimmy Dore doctrine, America and Saudi Arabia have every right to invade Yemen and level it. And even if we want to get Syrian and Chechen fighters to come in and rape everybody, we're allowed to do that because these guys exist there right now. Not the 29 dudes part of the Azov battalion in 2014, like I said, who are dead now. And who have been, and the process they've done to get rid of corruption and get rid of the neo-Nazis in their country. But just the existence of these guys, according to Jimmy Dore, it gives the U.S. government and the Saudis the right to level Yemen, take it over. Because say what you will about your beliefs about the Azov battalion, but they sure as fuck aren't out in town squares giving Nazi salutes. Are they now?
So let me bring in Chris Hedges on this. Now, Chris Hedges knows a thing or two about things.
Yeah, he used to have a show on RT, and he's still pissed that it got removed, even though he has copies of all of his shows and he could post the stuff that isn't, fuck the Ukrainians, they deserve to be raped and murdered videos. I'm sure he has a couple, but the majority of his stuff, his interviews with Snowden and stuff, he could post them online if he wanted to on his own channel. But I think RT will sue him. And who wants to be in a lawsuit with Russia in the middle of the Ukraine war?
And what do you make of Kissinger coming out and saying this? Why would he be unleashed to tell the truth?
Because, as always, he's had financial reasons for why he wants to do these things, that the economic stability of things is more important to him than the morality of it. Same with you. Same with Chris Hedges.
Because he comes out of a long history of...
Because he's fucking old.
Détente and Cold War relations. George Kennan, the great Soviet...
It's easy to believe that he could be suckered into believing what Xi Jinping or what Vladimir Putin say when they've been lying for decades.
They all understood that we shouldn't expand NATO.
Fuck off.
Beyond the borders of a unified Germany. At the time, Kennan...
Bullshit. This is, we've done this. 1997, NATO and Russia signed a pact that allows any country that wants to join NATO, and no country that doesn't want to join doesn't have to. And that Russia would partake in NATO security alliance protocols because their biggest concern was Middle Eastern terrorism at that point.
Live long enough to decry the expansion of NATO as the greatest mistake of the Cold War era.
Gibberish. Bullshit.
The balance of power politics, which, by the way, is what was disrupted in the Middle East. Iran and Iraq used to balance each other out. And then, of course, we went in there and essentially gave the Iraqi governments to the Shia and made it a province of Iran.
So our problem is that now Iran and Iraq aren't at war with each other directly, and them being at war with each other used to keep everybody on their heels in the Middle East so that we could come in and take whatever we needed. And Chris Hedges is arguing that that was a good thing. Excuse me. I would prefer if you would not refer to Jimmy Dore as a banana head. That's just rude. And I won't fucking have it. It's just that, of all things that, what are you fucking talking about, you banana head? I'd like to show you what a real show's all about. I'm a banana head. I'm glad to do it all day long. Hey, it's Chris Hedges, everybody. I know this asshole. He used to be on RT all the time because he couldn't get on a show in the United States because he had all these anti-Semitic things to say about Jews back in the day, I guess.
And so Kissinger's going back to that old playbook.
I'm going back to that old playbook, that fine old playbook where we're playing with a book by ourselves alone in our room.
Of making sure that there are...
Quick! Answer the question!
There never is an alliance formed.
No, you never want an alliance. You want everybody but us to be fighting each other and but never actually accomplishing anything. God forbid we have stable fucking borders. What we want is these people at each other's throats, right, Chris?
Between China and Russia.
Yeah.
And during the old Soviet Union.
Yeah. You used to have Iran and Iraq fighting each other and we could fuck around all we wanted. And now there are alliances there and we gotta actually negotiate with people. What fuck is that? Next thing you know, the Chinese and the Russians will start forming an alliance. We'll have to negotiate with them as a bloc about what? I don't know, because we're not going to want anything from either one of those fucking places unless you want a shitty electronic covered in COVID.
Especially when Mao visited, he felt that Stalin didn't treat him with appropriate respect and...
Yeah, I remember that. That's great, man. Yeah, way to be up on current events. Mao, yeah, sure. Go ahead. Tell us more about Mao. Mao, the Putin, Mao.
So that's always been part of the kind of geopolitical game, and that's where he's coming. I hate to agree with anything Kissinger says.
Too late!
He, of course, alone should spend the rest of his life in prison for what he did in 1970.
Yeah, you're agreeing with a guy who you believe should be put in prison for the rest of his known fucking life. That's great. Way to be consistent in your values, dipshit.
3 against Salvador Allende and the Chilean people. But he's right.
But he's right about this. Maybe he was right about that too. You know, maybe I'm starting to rethink my whole thing about Salvadorian.
He's right. That's how it's going to end.
I'm sorry. I just refuse to take any of this bullshit seriously.
But this is, and I think even the very cynical policymakers in Washington know that's how it's going to end. But they
no, they don't.
They pump all.
But believe me, this pains me to say, dickhead, to call you a dickhead, considering my status in life. But fuck off with this nonsense.
These weapons into the Ukraine.
Also, get your bookshelf in order, asshole. I'm guessing you haven't touched any of those in ages.
To essentially degrade to Russia's military, to create a kind of another Chechnya or the old Afghanistan, where the Soviet occupation forces fought the jihadists who became the Taliban, who we funded under Carter. And so...
Right. Because they were freedom fighters at that time, and we kept it so fucking secret that at the end of the war, they thought we were just another enemy. We were so good at hiding the fact that we were helping them, they didn't even know where the weapons were coming from.
He's going...
We're not going to have that problem in Ukraine, asshole. It's on the news.
Back to that old playbook, and he does happen to be right. But these current...
Get on with it. Just say the Ukrainians deserve it, and you want them to get it where it hurt. I'm sorry. When I bob up and down like that, it's quite frankly, it's a little too saucy. If you have it, little kiddies, you might want to leave the room. This show is definitely not made for children.
Neoconservatives, liberal interventionists, all kind of...
Yeah, so whatever, buzzword, jargon, buzzword. The whole point I'm trying to make is, leave Putin alone. He's had it too hard. His life, you don't understand. All he wants to do is put his country back together. He wants to Humpty Dumpty this motherfucker.
Kind of fused into one, see this as a wonderful opportunity to...
What? To what? Save the Ukrainian people and let them have their country back at the borders that they deserve and that they've had forever until they were invaded in 2014? Nah, I'm fucking with you.
To certainly cripple Russia, both in terms of sanctions and in terms of its military capabilities.
All of which is working.
The sanctions are clearly imposed, by the way, to get rid of Putin.
Right.
But Kissinger's right. If it backfires, the consequences, and I think it will backfire,
yeah, I know, because you agree with Henry Kissinger. Now, here, I'm going to float this for a second. But if you wait for a second, you might find out, you might learn something as you come on around. I'm a banana, and I'm singing a song, and I look a little bit like a big yellow schlong. But let me tell you a story about Russia right now. A lot of people have been wanting to get rid of Putin for a long time, but he's quite frankly been a formidable force because he's been using a vice-like grip to control the country for a very long time. But now he's sick and he's making stupid decisions. And post-COVID, in his isolation, he was apparently watching a bunch of YouTube videos that made him yearn for old Russia to come back. And he decided that this is his last chance because demographically, his country's running out of 18-year-olds, that they better do this shit now or they're never going to be able to do it. And so instead of having a plan, he just decided to pull the fucking ripcord and get this shit started. Even his foreign minister didn't understand. His foreign spy chief was fucking surprised that they were going into Ukraine. It caught him completely off guard. That's not what you want when your foreign spy head is going to be coordinating intelligence on the fucking battlefield. But nobody cares because everybody hopes that Ukraine just fails so Putin can win because Chris Hedges just wants his RT show back.
Consequences are really dangerous for this.
This is what happens when somebody calls somebody a banana head on my show. I hope you're happy.
Stability of Europe. I mean, cutting off Russian. You can't talk about war if you don't talk about markets, which I also write about in this column.
Oh, so we're doing it exactly right. By having sanctions, you cut off those markets, and then eventually that will starve the beast, and they won't have the funds to be able to carry out war, and then Ukraine doesn't have those kind of limitations, and they might actually win again. Gee, Jimmy looks kind of proud and confused and stupid, and he's just, at this point, I think he's just staring.
They want to stop...
and blinking. A little bit of blinking.
Russian oil shipments to...
Europe,
because then Europe's got to buy from the U.S. at much.
No, they don't. They're getting their natural gas from fucking Qatar. They're buying it from other places. We're telling Venezuela to put more up. Do you pay attention to anything that might push back against your thought form at all? I don't understand why you don't read the news when it blows a hole in your argument. Ha ha.
Much higher prices. All of Silicon Valley, U.S. manufacturers, although of course most everything is produced in China.
No, it isn't. No, it fucking isn't. As a matter of fact, those chips you're talking about are produced in Silicon Valley. Yeah, I know you think just the companies are there, but that's a bunch of bullshit. A lot of them are made in South Korea, the United States, and Taiwan. That's the three biggest producers of high quality chips in the fucking country. By volume, a bunch of them are produced in China, but they all suck. They're the kind you find in a wind-up toy, asshole.
There are heavy restraints in terms of their access to the Chinese market. So there's a great hostility towards the Chinese Communist Party. And they certainly are stupid enough to think the threat of war might be a mechanism to open up those markets. It's very clear that
Huh? The fuck are you talking about? Everybody's getting out of China, you dweeb.
In their vision, the idea is to take down Russia, and then they're going to take down China.
Yes.
And it's
yeah, totally. That's exactly what's happening. And by the way, obviously they've got somebody working on the inside taking China down. Obviously Henry Kissinger was involved in the Shanghai lockdowns, and now the Tianjin lockdowns, and the fucking Beijing lockdowns, and the zero COVID policy, and the dipshit 3 lines policy that ruined the entire, the economic structure of the fucking country because it was based 30% on goddamn real estate.
It's, of course, insanity and dangerous.
It's also a cartoon. It's fiction. Don't ask me how I know.
Incredibly dangerous. But and we just got a whole public relations display by Biden where he's invited Japan and South Korea to the NATO meeting in Madrid. He's trying to create a kind of NATO pact in the Indo-Pacific. It's nuts.
It's just. Why would we want other countries that have solid democracies, good workers' rights, and don't have genocidal slave camps? Why would we want to do business with them instead of China? It's so much cheaper.
But it feeds the coffers of the war industry,
no, it doesn't. It has nothing to do with the coffers of the war industry, fucko. I'm getting into salty cupcake land here.
Once again, making more money than they know what to do with, and of the paid political class and the paid pundits who serve their interests are...
Look, just because you're broke and you used to work for Russia, you are a paid pundit for Russia, and now you lost your job, doesn't mean everybody else does it just for the money. Some of us just do it to have a little skin in the game.
Are parroting what it is they want the public to hear, but it's exceedingly dangerous. Look, these people, Biden, the Clintons, all of them.
The lizard people, Huma Abedin, I read all about them.
Have no business running the country.
No, it's not like they. Wait a minute. Clinton isn't running the country. Wait a second. What? She was like Biden was elected. It's a democracy. So if he has no business running the country, who does? Trump?
They've destroyed the country.
Oh, I see. I didn't realize the country was destroyed. That's why you moved somewhere else? Yeah, see? It's why Jackson Hinkle has a Soviet flag next to his name on that tweet that's still stuck up there for some fucking reason. That's why Jimmy moved out of Los Angeles, because he's just sick of the authoritarianism from the Democratic Party.
Ralph Nader calls them traitors. He's not wrong. They're traitors.
To who? To China and Russia?
But they perpetuate themselves, and they do it, and they know the growing unpopularity. They do it by essentially shutting out third parties. As you know, I work with...
Oh, for fuck's sake. I knew I was going to get tired of this. Bye. There's only so much that I can take before I gotta take a break from the Jimmy Dore bullshit and racist show. A little anti-Semitism goes a long way. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. That was... oh, hi.
I thought she was dying.
Yes, I heard she was caterwauling, as a cat will do. Chud! Hey! Hi! Chud, come here! My cat was meowing outside the door.
I thought you were dying because you were singing.
Oh, probably. She worries. So my cat, when I sing around the house, Chud thinks I'm hurt.
Yeah. She's just crying at the door right now.
Yeah, Chud, come here. Come here, baby. Chud wants to say hi. Come on. She's like, meow, meow.
To know you're okay.
I was just being a banana. Thank you. Aw, there she is. There's a big girl. Big Mama Chud. Mama Chud's all right. Yeah. It's okay, baby. She gets worried about me. Yeah. You're the sweetie. You're a sweet thing. It's okay. Chud. How's it going? There she is. Hi. Yeah, you're all right. Chud is, my feral cat. At this point, we're not 100% sure she's not a gopher. Is she? You heard me. Oh, that's a scratch. That's a scratch point right there. That's it. That's good stuff. Hi, sweetie. Yeah. Yes, you are. You're a sweet thing. How you doing? Oh, there you go. Hop up there. Yep. Chud's lovely. That is not Chip. No. Chud and Chip get along absolutely. They eat in the morning.
They're both chunkers.
Yeah, they're both chunkers now. My cats get fat, apparently.
Your cats like to eat.
Yes, they do. Yeah. She's a sweet thing or whatever. I'm way over time. But it's okay. You know, it was worth it today. Thank you guys so much. I'm going to, I have a morning show tomorrow, regular time, 9 a.m. I'm going to take a break and go pet Chud because obviously she's having emotional issues without me because I was gone for a few days. She's like, what is happening? Where are you going? Everybody says hi, by the way. Hello. She said it very lightly. And I will see you guys in the morning show. And I'll see if I can get a copy of, or a way to watch a copy of 2,000 Mules. And if I can do it tomorrow, I will. And if not, we'll do it, sometime next week. Although I think it will be sort of ridiculous. I'm surprised it's not, on Lindell TV right now. Yes, HAL withdrawal is a real thing for my cats. Absolutely.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Did you tell about Chip and Siri yet? Did you tell that story?
Oh, no. So
when you're gone.
When I'm gone, I have a HomePod mini on my nightstand. And Chip walks over. He lays on the side of my bed with his head over the side, like, when are you coming home? And he'll, in the morning, when I'm supposed to be there to feed him, he walks onto my nightstand, sits on the nightstand, and then he touches the HomePod with his nose, triggering it to play music. And if you're laying there, you'll go, hey Siri, play some music. See what it does. He'll touch his nose to it, and then it'll do this.
Sure. Here's some music picked just for you.
Great. So it'll start doing that, and then
he's a fan of Heart.
Yes, he's a fan of. Yeah. Hey Siri, stop. And we'll say that, and then he'll touch his nose to it again, which makes it turn back on. And go, hey Siri, play. Hey Siri, stop. Like you'll do that all morning. Yeah, it was jellyfish. That's right. Russia has school shootings. Yeah, they do. They have serial killers in the whole bit. They just don't talk about it. Yeah, Spilt Milk is such a great record. Oh my God. All right, Chud, I'm going to let you down because you're covering me in hair and you're adorable. And that was good. All right. Oh, God. All right. But yeah, he touches his nose to it, and that triggers it to play. And you have to go, stop. You have to say, hey, stop, and it will stop. Well, babe, you made a video of him, right? Yeah. So share it with me, and I'll post it so people can see it. It's pretty hilarious. But he does that. He just touches it with his nose, and it starts playing music, and then he just sits there looking at it because music is coming out. And it always plays Heart for some reason. I mean, I obviously listen to a lot of Heart as I'm tuning up my voice. That's one of the vocalists I sing along with to get myself in shape. Oh, you just activated your HomePod. I'm sorry. All right, so I'm covered in cat hair. So I'm going to let you guys go, and I will see you in the morning. And thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for the support. Thank you, James, for the super chat, for Chud. Thank you, Eggs5 No More, for the bits. And thank you, Carrie, for following. Thanks, Deborah, for the super chat. Thanks, Erica, for the super chat. Thanks to all our Patreon supporters. Patreon.com/HalSparks if you want to support the show. I'm still building out my travel rig. And I'm looking very Lancelot with the stash. Oh, thanks. That's nice. We'll see if you still feel that way as it grows in on the edge here. I get it like right along here and around here, but it's very sparse, so it takes a while for it to show up. Oh my God, the cat hair. All right, we'll talk about it tomorrow. But I will see you guys 2 shows tomorrow, and then of course radio on Saturday. Like and subscribe, give a thumbs up, share the show, share the clips, share the stuff. That would be lovely. You're awesome. And remember, above all else, take care of yourself and take care of somebody else. And Russell Brand is a douchebag. Okay, bye.